Like Cav, I was like, make him watch. Tell your family shit.
All right, watch. Make him watch. Make him
Tell him you
watch
be,
you be a nerd.
tell him you'll
Make
be
him
right
watch you
back.
be a nerd.
Tell him you'll be gone for
Uh,
just 3.5 hours. You'll be back. They're gonna be
Witness
there.
my
They'll
nerdness.
they'll they'll be there the other 27.5 days. So
right.
that'd be my ass though. I'd be doing some shit like that. I'm like, y'all gonna have to wait. Y'all here for a
I'll be
month?
mad.
Yeah, you're gonna have to wait for me for
Yeah, you
four
gonna have to
hours.
watch some shit. You
You're
gonna
gonna
have
have
to
to wait
watch some
four
shit,
hours
bro.
before I come out the room.
you can, you can hide it. You can hide it for a weekend, but not a month, bro. Not a month. A
Not a
month?
month.
Nah, you gonna have to watch him play Dungeons and Dragons,
Yo, and by the way, Matt Johnson, I gotta thank you again for this picture, man. That picture is godlike.
yeah, man. I think I got
That's
everybody, bro.
that whaler picture with that fucking Verna coat. That
Yeah, man.
shit is dope,
Uh,
yo.
got everybody right. Got everybody right.
All right.
Shit is really dope. I wanted it to get a more panned out. You know what I mean? But I mean, I gotta take what we can get because
Yeah,
it's a fucking computer
that's
at the
just
end of the
dope.
day making that
I
shit.
can I got zero complaints.
Yeah,
Zero
and I found
complaints.
a trick. I was like, I just take the head and I just moved. I did that in Pixar. Just moved the head over and photoshopped it in. Too easy.
Oh, I thought this motherfucker had it. All right. Well,
Calvin got some dope pics, man. Whenever he want to wear armor.
Hmm. I saw those. I was like, damn. This just look cool as fuck.
Whenever he want to wear armor, he got some dope pics coming his way. Shit. That shit was just spitting them out. I'm like, all right. It's a lot harder to get hobgoblins doing Shaolin monk shit. I'll tell you that.
I mean, yours
The
still came
hands.
out dope though, especially with the blue out on for the blue stone. Looks dope.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a bunch of pics with Bluestone, man. I got a bunch of pics, man. It's just they never get the hands right. The hands always just fucking.
Yo, that
Gotta,
one pic you showed me, it put
bro,
like
it
it
was.
put 6 fingers and 2 thumbs on one hand, yo.
Man,
for real.
man,
I was like,
you got to
what?
see the other ones. There's a bunch of other dope ones. They got spaghetti fingers. They're just like 9 fingers doing. They can't make a fist.
Damn.
They can't make a fist
Yeah.
at all.
That's why
Sometimes a
it
lot of
worked out for mine because Waylon's hands are in his pockets, so you can't see
right underneath the jacket, like
him.
the jacket and shit. I was like, when I saw that shit, I was like, oh, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Hide the hands.
It's perfect.
Like what's his name? That comic book artist with the
Oh, Rob Liefeld. They got a
yeah,
high
right.
feet.
Oh my God, Rob Liefeld. No, let's not even talk about this nigga's. The way he drew feet was
Yo,
fucking disrespectful.
he blocked me
Oh
on
my
IG,
God.
man. He blocked me
He
on IG.
blocked you.
That's what, that shit was amazing because I was cracking. I used to crack jokes in his comments. So
Oh
motherfucker,
my God.
I was like, look, the master of hiding feet, because he was like used to put his covers up. And they were some of the dopest covers though. He just always used to hide feet and do it. That's what he did, yo. Everybody saw that
feet
shit.
behind feet behind smoke, feet behind rocks, feet
Feet
behind
behind rocks,
people.
debris, feet behind everything, bro. And one
Just-
day I went back to look at his face. This shit said, "Does no longer exist." I think it really blind. He said, "You do no longer troll
Oh
me.
my God.
You will
That's
no
funny
longer
as
troll
fuck.
me."
I'm looking this shit up.
Yo,
Yeah, he
if you
upped
want to
it.
see the
He
most,
upped it.
if you want to
Upped
Yeah,
it
see,
mocked for not drawing.
if you want to see
yeah, because
Rob Liefeld as absolute best slash worst, you
yeah,
got to see his run on Captain America. Oh my
yeah.
God, his Captain
It'd
America
be,
run was so
it'd be some panels
egregious.
you'd be some
Walking big
panels you'd be
with the
looking at
huge
it, you'd be
chest.
like, what was going on?
Captain America with no lips. This nigga got no lips, just teeth. I'm
Yo,
like,
why he
why you turn Captain America into Fire Marshal Bill? How you fuck
had
this
no
up, bro?
lip? Like,
Yo, you gotta see his Captain America run. It's so bad. His muscles look crazy, but it was just
Crazy,
his
just
facial
shoulder.
features. It's like, what
It
are
was
you
he was
doing?
doing all sorts. It was
That
crazy.
that that one Captain America picture where he's like, it looks like he's facing forward, but he's standing to the side.
Yeah. Like,
That's the
like his shoulders
one.
in
That's the
his
one.
shoulders in the middle of his chest. The
That's
perspective is
the
crazy.
one. That's the one, bro. Oh
Uh,
my
Bob
god.
Byfield was sick. He's a sick animal.
Oh
Sick.
man.
He's a sick man.
Yeah, why is his chest out like that?
Yeah, you see it,
Yeah,
right?
right.
There's one where the fucking size scaler for Captain America is so bad, it's ridiculous.
Yo, what?
That's right.
This nigga looked like he was like giant in one panel, and then he goes back to normal in the other. It's crazy.
That's why it was so crazy that Deadpool just took off though. It's
Right.
like one character made him fucking a billionaire.
Yeah. It's
Right,
nuts.
right. Man can sit back and relax now.
That's
Mm,
crazy.
It's like fuck
good
your feet.
times. I blame it on the 90s. Image Comics made
Hey man,
everybody go
Yeah.
crazy.
but they had to. They
90s
had
is a
to.
wild time for comics.
Image
Wild.
Comics had to.
Image Comics had niggas coming out with wielding guns that were like way too heavy for them to fucking lift. You had to have superhuman strength just to fucking pick the
Like
gun up.
just the whole, it looked like a whole fucking
Image
steel
was putting out
beam.
some dope shit back then, man.
Yeah, man. Image was nuts.
Spawn was great. Fucking
Spawn was
Kid,
amazing.
Savage Dragon, those shits, they were all good.
Savage Dragon was just
I like
yo,
that shit.
I ain't gonna lie
It
to
was
you.
crazy.
I was copping Savage Dragons and had to hide them from my parents because they were used to be buying Spider-Man, but when I
Right.
found out Savage Dragon was fucking in them comics, I was like, yeah.
You had
Let me
Shadowhawk
copy
out there.
Let me copy
Shadowhawk out
Savage
there
Dragon,
fucking
right?
breaking people's backs.
Yo. Tommy
Savage
Store
for
guy
a
was
reason.
looking at my young
It's
ass
crazy.
like, little nigga, what you doing buying this shit? I'm like, shut up and put it in the bag, bro.
In the bag, G, just put it in the bag. Don't ask why I
Yo,
bought it.
remember when Savage Dragon fought the Ninja Turtles? That shit was wild.
Mm-hmm.
That was a wild ass episode too.
You want to kick it off, Lou?
Yeah, before we lose any more time waiting.
All right.
So,
Guys,
alright,
it's already
so
10:11.
the last thing that happened was the characters were at the table in their common room having a deep discussion before their conversation was interrupted by Sheriff Hemlock, who had an urgent matter that they had to attend to together, especially concerning the fact that it directly involves Icarus, with a note that was left behind by the murderer. Series of
Mm-hmm.
A second set of murders, one of which Hemlock says has been um, kept under wraps. With the second one, unfortunately, not able to be hidden because that was discovered by the townspeople. And oh shit, there we go, Icarus, just in time. Uh so Hemlock asked you guys to come meet him over at the lumber mill the Sandpoint lumber mill when you're ready. And as your characters gather their things that they believe they'll be needing, as they go to help out with this investigation. Um, Icarus has something to share with the group because Icarus realizes, well, she was planning to give this at a later date, but considering like the next time they went adventuring, but considering what's going on, she decided to pull these items out now to
Am I giving them to them now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
So your characters know, all your characters were busy doing a lot of stuff in between, during the downtime. Icarus, on her private time, has been um, working hard on learning to harness magical energy and imbue it within objects and then shaping that magical energy for a specific purpose. Sort of like a cook at the in the kitchen trying to get a recipe going together and make a certain meal taste perfect for like a certain person or whatever. Trying to get the spices right and the cooking times and the type of, similar with the way she's weaving her magic and trying to go to the market and get the resources that she needs to like imbue magic into items, of which she comes forward with. She had gone to Waylon. I think Waylon's the only one that knows she was like really working on this stuff because she needed to go to him to get some assets, pretty much. Like I need it for for this story. It's good for the group. You're gonna get something too. You'll like it. So,
So
um,
she goes, well, I wish this was on better terms, like this was on a brighter note, but since we're now knee deep in a murder mystery, I have some things that I should give you guys that should give us or give you guys a leg up on things to help us out on our journey. She starts with Waylon, and she like goes into her bag, like searching through it, and she hands you a flask. She goes, I believe your craft and the way you create your mutagens will definitely benefit from this flask. And I really hope that it serves you well as I think it will. Um, I think it will do you some good. She hands you a preserving flask.
Well, Waylon, he turns the flask over a few times in his hand. What? What is going on? Is this some sort of a holiday that I am unaware of? Everyone is giving out gifts. I feel so left out. I didn't have anything prepared for you all. All I can give you in return is my thanks.
She gives like a warm smile and she goes, not to sound cheesy, but honestly, I didn't do it for a return of gift, but I did it because you're you're my you're my friends. So
Mm.
and the thank you is really all I need.
this small, durable flask is designed to preserve alchemical extracts indefinitely. You can store an extract in the flask and it remains potent until it is consumed or removed from the flask. The preserved extract will count against your extracts for the day on the day that you prepare them. However, not on subsequent days. So
Oh,
it's similar to
nice.
it's like a ring of spell storing in a sense.
So
You
that counts, but she said mutagens. So does that count for my
each
mutagens as
flask
well?
each flask is capable of preserving an extract of a particular level. This one is for first level extracts. An extract stored in the flask retains the duration, cast level, other properties. The flask works on extracts and infusions, but not on
Not mutagens.
not
Okay, all right.
Okay.
infusions. Yeah.
I was about to say, if we're done mutagens, but that's still fucking godlike. All right, cool, cool, cool. I already know the first thing I'm gonna put in there, Lou, right now is my extract for targeted bomb mixture.
Okay.
Um, she next she looks at
Yo,
Rakim.
that Nasir one is dope, son. That picture's
She
godlike.
she she looks at Rakim. She goes into her bag and goes, I put a lot of work into this. Um, it required magic that can't say that I'm familiar with, but I believe I got it down right. So therefore it should help out. and she hands Rakim an amulet, and it is an amulet of Mighty's Fist +1.
That's kind
Oh
of like
shit.
As you place the
Oh shit.
amulet, she explains that the amulet is infused with potent evocative magics that will um, infuse your physical form with a little bit of a stronger impact and a little more magical assistance on your accuracy um, against your enemies. And when the resources come in later on in the future, she can further upgrade the amulet with more potent
Oh,
magic. So at the
if I
moment it
remember.
is +1, yeah, +1 amulet to
yeah.
Mighty Fist.
All right, Lou, I got a question about that. Am I mistaken that like she could also add weapon properties to it, or is that only on
Yes.
bracers?
No, she could add the weapon. You can add weapon special abilities to the amulet as well. So like,
Oh, wow.
if she wanted to
Mm,
add flaming quality to the amulet, then Rakim would be able to do 1d6 fire damage with his extra 1d6 fire damage with his like unarmed attacks, as an
that's
example.
dope. That's dope. Okay.
Thank you,
Got
Icarus. In accepting of the gift, honor is returned to the giver.
I'm glad you enjoy it. I put a lot of work into this one. She then looks at Nasir
But this one's
and
interesting. This one's gonna be very.
she looks at Nasir and she pulls out what looks like a tooth, and she goes, this is interesting.
Two? No, 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 it's not two.
It says shaft toothless.
Shab. No, it's saying Shabtoosh.
Ah,
I
I
thought it
can't
said tooth the first time too.
read
I was
it.
like, I was like, what the
No,
hell is that?
no,
I was like, what the fuck is a Shabtoosh?
you
I was
wrote it out as shaft tooth, and then when
Shabtooth.
you hit
See, look,
you
I
wrote it
fucking
out
because
as shaft tooth.
I was thinking tooth when I saw the words. I
You
Shab.
wrote it out. I was like, wait a minute, it's right.
That's a
So
goddamn
she
tooth.
That is a tooth.
the tooth of
she hands you
victims.
this
What?
this piece of
Shaft
cloth.
tooth.
She hands you this piece of cloth, and she goes, well, better yet, put it on. And you
Um,
can wear it on your belt or your chest or your shoulders. You usually can hold around your hand, but
Mm.
I believe that this will definitely come in handy for you.
so
What
what you
she gave you as a perfectionist chatouche. Chatouche.
it is a long piece of cloth that is so fine that it can pass through a finger ring. It's delicately woven with multiple colors to spell out Eroran prayers. And it is usually worn as a shawl or as a belt or wrapped around the chest and shoulders, as Icarus explained. Um,
Mm.
but it doesn't use a magic item slot. It's so if you wore it around your waist, then you wanted to wear a magic belt, you could do both. Um, if wrapped around at least one limb, it would grant the wearer the improved unarmed strike feat, which you don't have to worry about because you already have that. But the cloth can be commanded to be wielded as a +1 whip.
Mm.
In addition,
Wait a second.
and
You mean to tell me this motherfucker is towel whipping people? Like,
Yeah.
in, a,
it's a magical towel whip. Wow.
in,
That's a
Okay.
bully.
in addition, Icarus did some research on it. I mean, this is an Auroran magic item as well. In addition, if you were to meditate on the shawl's sacred mantras that you can see woven into the cloth of the sacred text of prayers of Irori. If you were to meditate on those mantras, you are able to use the magic of the Shabtush to use cure light wounds once per day, and a magical effect known as uh, it's the equivalent of a spell known as Know the Enemy once per day. And what that does is you are able to commune with the divine, reflecting on one type of creature that you had encountered within the day, within the last day, and you're able to make a knowledge check regarding that creature with a +10 insight bonus.
Mm.
Damn.
So
That shit.
say you fought some sort of undead or maybe a dragon early in the day and you wanted to reflect on, the what you could glean uh from the magic, from the divination magic of the shawl, what he would want to know about the creature.
Hmm.
You'd be able to do that, you know. You'd be able to use the ability, roll the knowledge check, and then the knowledge, whatever your knowledge bonus is, will get an additional +10
Well, what's
insight
the
bonus.
action? What's the action economy on using it?
It
Yeah.
I it's probably standard action. So
Oh, so that means he doesn't have to wait that long. So that means if he's in a fight with, like, say he's like the example you gave, let's say he's fighting like a giant or something, and he wants to know like a weakness of that particular giant, he could
right,
use a standard action to use that shawl, and
yeah,
then
get the
roll
+10
Mm.
knowledge check.
bonus. Yep,
Okay, that's dope. That's dope.
Dope.
that and yeah, and it can do cure light wounds once a day.
Killer
Past the
wounds.
level
And it's a
third,
whip.
so it'll heal 1d8 +3. And yeah, on command you can use it as a +1 whip. So it's a magic +1 whip.
And that shit could tell you, give you some stats on whatever you're fighting. Oh shit! I didn't notice. I guess I got the memo. It's the Akatsuki Durag Day, huh?
Oh,
Akatsuki Durag
absolutely.
Day.
Absolutely. Right. You should get one for the whole crew.
For real.
Everybody.
That's how he wears his chef touche.
Like,
Right. Right, actually. See,
that's
Right?
dope.
Yeah,
you
it can
see,
be used
Oh,
as a
see,
as a shawl or over your
you
head.
see,
Yeah.
that's it. Tied up as a do rag.
that's
And when
godlike.
when he pulls that shit off, that shit
Right.
turns to a whip.
I'm gonna be using that shit to trick people. You said it's a +1 magic whip,
Yep,
plus the
yeah, +1
proficiency I
whip.
have with the hobgoblin pit boss, plus the trip shit I have.
So
Yeah, go ahead.
it's gonna be like the whip you have now, but yeah, with an additional +1 to attack and damage,
Yeah.
and it counts as a magic weapon. So
Mm-hmm.
I'll wait till Samuel and Mike get here. I'll wait till Quentin and Caldum get here to give them theirs.
Well,
Yeah,
technically speaking, Caldum's already there, right?
well,
Because
yeah,
Yeah,
technically,
yeah,
Mike is not going to be.
I told him I'll
yeah.
just update
That's,
him in WhatsApp. I send him links to the video, or I give him a brief rundown of like what had happened.
Yeah, yeah, Mike going to be gone for at least a month, Tony.
Yeah, 2 more weeks after today, because his family's came down, and he wants to hang. He wants to hang with his family while they're down while they're down in Hawaii with him. So it's like 4 o'clock his time right now, or 4:30 or some shit like that. So
Mm. I feel bad for him. I know that shit going to get tiring after a while.
man, a month?
That's
Woo!
a long time. So
What?
I would say
Whole month.
after the first week of people being in your house you're not used to, you're like,
ready for people to
fuck.
leave after like 2 hours. Like, I'm like, bro.
but what she ended up giving Caldum was uh boots of elven kind.
Oh, that's dope.
Mm.
That's a
What's that
nice
do?
that's a
He
nice
missed
fucking
since he missed
classic
out
right
since he missed out on the cloak. Made the move.
there.
The boots will give him a +5 competence bonus on acrobatic.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, man.
That's good.
That's a
Gotta,
Dungeons and
gotta,
Dragons
gotta,
like classic item right there.
all right.
Yeah,
Gotta help him with
that and the cloak for real. Quindamere got the bookmark of deception. So it's a magical bookmark that can alter his book to appear as if it was another book entirely, even if someone were to read it. So it's a good way of hiding your
I just
spell
spell
book,
book. That's
right?
dope.
Somebody will read it and think it's a fucking cookbook or whatever,
Oh, he definitely has to turn it into some sort of smut book, you know.
or smut book, right? The um
It's like a 50 Shades of Grey type book.
the
Mhm.
actually the you know what? The apparent book is determined when it's crafted. So it's up to Icarus what kind of book.
Oh shit.
It's a bookmark, so it could work on any book, but he could use it for his spell book. Yeah, it's up to Icarus to decide what book it hides it as. I'll give you time to figure that out, and you
Yeah.
can. And is So the apparent book is determined when the bookmark is crafted, and is usually an especially boring or commonplace book, such as a legal or religious text. That's usually. It doesn't have to be. Um, the bookmark also protects the itself and the book that it's inside of with a non-detection. It
Wow,
is,
that's real smart.
yeah, it is an abjuration that will protect the bookmark in the book from being, yeah, detected by divinations,
Yeah, but does that
such
work
as
against the actual owner too? Like if someone were to
um
steal the book, he wouldn't be able to find it because it's non-detection on it.
I would say so. So hopefully
Yikes!
he knows where he leaves his book. Hopefully he knows. Hopefully he doesn't lose his book with the bookmark in it. But
Right, because it's like, damn, that's just hidden from him too. He's a diviner,
right.
so that's his first go-to would be like, all right, let me just cast
It's affected by non-detection, which
locate object.
means, and its caster level is 5. So what? I think it's 10 plus. I think for if it's personal, it's either 15 plus the cast. It's either DC 20 or DC 15. I gotta check. But
Ah,
if
but here's
anybody,
the trick.
but if anybody were to use a divination for the book, like say locate object or whatever, um, they would have to roll a caster level check and beat the DC. If they fail to beat the DC, they don't. It doesn't reveal. They don't get anything.
Well, what about this? What if instead of him trying to target the book with locate object, what if he targeted the bookmark?
The bookmark's also protected.
God damn
Yeah, it says it. It says
it.
it said it in there. It said the bookmark and the book that it's in.
They were smart enough to say that. 'Cause I was about to be like, oh, I'll just look for the
Yeah,
bookmark then.
right. They were quick to say that shit.
Yeah, he better not lose that shit.
Uh,
Tony, check the chat bubble and roll 20.
oh, it is 4.
50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
Extreme sex and passion between two couples. That's a good one. I don't think anybody's gonna want to keep
Oh,
that.
okay.
They definitely could be like, fuck this book.
Yeah, Quindamere is in the Quindamere's he's in the Discord, so he could hear us, but obviously he's not gonna go probably role playing on the train home. But
What? Role play in front of everybody, Quindamere?
hey, I know
Let's
some
Yo,
people
go.
do crazy shit in the subway all the time
I was
anyway.
about
We're
to
gonna
say, weirder shit has happened in New York subway systems. I assure you.
That'd be just another day. They'd ignore him completely, yo.
Bro.
For real, they'd be like, okay, whatever. But I can imagine him yelling on the subway, like, no, fasten that lightning bolt. Like, okay, like whatever. Lightning bolt. Like that video we saw with the loppers. Lightning bolt.
Oh
Lightning bolt.
God.
Sleep. They just hear Matt doing that on the train. Lightning bolt. 50 Shades of Green. Okay, I just read this. Uh, hmm, oh shit.
And I didn't send you the magic item I chose, but I chose this.
Oh, now I get Nasir's. I'm like, where the fuck is Nasir's pick? Can't even say it.
Mnemonic.
Mnemonic.
My bad. Yeah, I forgot. I sent you everybody's but mine.
Oh, is there enough in the treasury?
Was there enough in the treasury for me to get
There's
a
enough, but it's
pick?
gonna be 2,500 for that one.
Because when I say shit, I just made all those magic items. Then when I say shit,
Well,
okay.
That's true.
Right,
Icarus did. That's
right.
true. Icarus
Ain't
didn't
nobody
really
gonna
get
say.
much of anything,
Yeah,
so
nobody gonna say. Yeah, ain't nobody gonna say nothing. Go ahead, man. Go ahead. You know you guys get first priority, bro.
you see Icarus with a delicate looking silk robe, whatever color it is. It says blue, but you can make it
It's
whatever color you
red.
want. Red. Delicate looking red silk robe adorned with tiny embossed runes across its entire surface.
mm.
As a spontaneous caster once per day, she's able to use a spell slot to cast a spell from a written source, such as you
Oh,
sneaky son of a bitch,
shit.
such as a scroll or a spell book,
Oh,
as
put
i-
that spell
as
into
Yeah.
use.
as if she knew that spell. The spell must be on her spell list, so she could grab Quindamir's spell book, for example, and like cast a spell on there as if she knew it.
Boom.
Shit.
And it
Good
That's
must
shit.
dope.
the same spell level or lower than the expended. Then the also it could be any spell as long as she has a slot for it. Damn. So if she
That's
wanted to,
dope as
if
fuck.
she wanted to cast a, she's got second level slot. She wanted to cast a second level spell from his book. She could do it.
Sweet.
Uh, the caster must also understand the written source, such as decipher script or read magic, and be carrying it. Activating the robe is not an action, but casting the spell works as normal, including casting time, focuses, etc. Using the properties of this vestment does not consume the written source. So if she was to use a scroll,
I could still use a scroll again.
yeah. So like if she
Damn.
doesn't, yeah. So she has a scroll of a spell that she doesn't have on her sorcerer list, on her sorcerer spells known. Yeah, she's able to use the vestment to cast from the scroll, and the scroll still retains its spell on it. Doesn't get used up.
That's great.
Yep, she can do
That's
this
crazy.
once per day. Yeah, once per day, which ain't fucking bad, cause shit. Basically, once per day, you can cast a sorcerer spell you don't have, as long as you have the spell book or the
Fucking
scroll
godlike.
to it. Yeah.
That's some shit that Claudius would be proud of.
That's exactly the person I thought of when I found it too.
That versatility, yeah.
um,
Also with sorcerer's robes, but like my bloodline powers don't do damage, so it was like that would have been a waste.
so yeah, did I send everybody's? So I'm trying to send these updated. Uh, I sent Caldums, I sent Naxirs, I sent Rakeem's. Oh, that's right. I think I gotta send Wayland's with the. Here's Wayland's with the flash on the sheet, and then I gotta add that to Icarus's sheet.
And the and the portable labs on there too.
Yeah, portable labs on there. Portable lab. Where is I need? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Okay. So, um, as the characters gather their things and their new things, they make their way towards the. Is it the right one? Yeah, they make their way towards the Sandpoint Lumber Mill by the Turindarock River, as suggested by Quindamir, because your characters receive information from Sheriff Hemlock, who made it clear to like keep the to yourselves. But the leads are the Sandpoint Lumber Mill, where the recent murders have taken place. The bodies are still present. Um, as for suspects, they did take uh they did take in Ivor Thorne, who was one of the lumber mill workers, who was the one that discovered the bodies. Um, he's completely in shock and frightened, and they have him at the cell, not because, well, partially because they're trying to make sure he's obviously hasn't done it, but mainly because he was so distraught and so um horrified. Um, they wanted to make sure that he kept safe and didn't go too crazy. The only suspect they could even manage to think of when it came to the two that were murdered
Ben
was
Vinder.
Ven Vinder, who he even sheriff said he was just taken in as a precaution, even though there's really no hard evidence. There's really no he doesn't even believe Ven had anything really much to do with it, but wants to cover bases. You never know, just in case. But Van Vinder is the father of one of the victims, and he's the sheriff has said like he's always loved and cared for his daughter a bit too much. He was extremely overprotective of her. Um, and the other two is whenever they want, they can also um inspect over what happened with the first murders, which he tells the group the first murders were actually the killings of three con men from the town of Balduria. They were found murdered in an abandoned barn south of Sandpoint just a few days ago. They had hired a bodyguard, and the bodyguard survived the assault, but went insane and was had to be sent to Habe's Sanatorium, which is a privately run respite for the insane. Um, if I switch to over here, you guys can see Sandpoint here. That's Sandpoint here. And yep, down here is Habe's Sanatorium.
This should look like a hike.
It is looks to be about maybe 3 miles. 3 and a half miles probably. Um, so yeah, I mean, yeah, a lot of this this map here is like the literally the immediate area of Sandpoint. It's like it looks like it's like everything within like 5 to 6 miles.
Mm.
So they can get to the sanatorium in like what, like an hour, hour and a half. I gotta check,
All right.
but uh, finally, he had explained that there was a rune, strange rune carved on the male victim's chest, and he didn't know what the heck it was. He explained the only thing he was able to explain was that it looked like some kind of star with like 7 points. Um, you know, Sheriff doesn't know anything about it, but Quinn Lemire was the one that immediately like, hey, your characters, recalled seeing that as well, and recalled Quinn Lemire having discussed about it out loud when you guys were exploring, a couple of months back during your ventures. He had explained that it was and it's the same symbol that's on the medallion that your characters had found that he had been holding on to, and that it was the Sahedron rune. So your characters head to the mill. Um, as for the mill, I'll say Waylon would know this. He's, worked there and learned from there as well. Um, just due to his carpentry.
Mm-hmm.
The Actually, better yet, roll. That one of the mill's operators is so your character's like, well, who are the ones that were killed? The victims are Banny Harker and Treen Treen Vendor, daughter of Vendor. And Van Vinder owns and operates the general store of the town. Um, the general store is Sandpoint's oldest and best stocked general store, and it typically has a little bit of everything: farm equipment, weapons, tack, tools, furniture, food, even homemade pies baked by his wife. Like, um, also keeps a shocking supply of alcohol in his wine cellar. And he has two daughters. He has Katrine, which is his eldest, and his other daughter is Shaylis. So,
You got some new competition now that we're in town. Deep Pockets General Store, baby.
okay. I guess to anybody who has a knowledge local, you can train, you can roll.
All right. Got that at +7. So I got a 19 total.
19. All right. Waylon, Icarus isn't Icarus wasn't particularly keen on other than knowing she didn't know really anything about Benny. But she does know about Katrine being the daughter of Van Binder, but that's as much as she knows. Their paths have never really crossed. She was never really like, if anything, um, Katrine had more of like an air of like she never really spoke to Icarus, but always had like rather this demeanor of being somewhat jealous of Icarus's uh beauty, that charisma. But other than that, there's never really been like any sort of uh memorable interaction between the two. Wayland, on the other hand, um knows that Banny Harker is one of the mill's operators, and he's known to be a rather penny pinching kind of kind of man.
Mm.
He's actually been engaged in a semi-secret affair with Katrine. Um, they're known to meet at the mill often lately. So your characters arrive at the lumber mill, and you get closer to the pier because it's situated right by the Turndock River. The mill is a well-built wooden structure with very thick walls. The roof is wooden shingles. The doors are simple timber, typically unlocked. The mill machinery has been disengaged. Obviously, no one's working there with this situation going on. Um, you see a group of people around the mill, and you see the guards like trying to hold everyone back, keep them from ruining the murder scene and contaminating the site. And but when they see your group come by, they pretty much split open like the Red Sea, let your group walk through like big shots. Uh, with the sheriff escorting you, the sheriff nodding and waving for you to follow him towards the pier. And you get to the scene. Well, first you notice, you look at the surroundings. You notice, you can see that the timber is delivered to this mill via a small pier that extends out into the river. Um, and then as for the murder scene, the mill interior is coated with sawdust, strewn with footprints and splashes of blood. And Banny Harker's body has been horribly desecrated. He's been affixed to the wall by several hooks, normally used to hang machinery. The body's mutilated. The face is carved away. The lower jaw is missing entirely. His bare chest is defaced as well, bearing the strange rune in the shape of the seven-pointed star. Uh,
Yes, according to me, the significance of the number 7 that keeps popping up, possibly.
yeah, here it is. This is what it looks like carved onto his chest.
Ooh, nice.
Um,
A lot of sevens, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of
as
sevens.
Quindamir just nods, um, being nods an affirmation that that is indeed the seven-pointed star of the Sahedron rune. Like, um,
Can you do a knowledge religion check on Sahedrin?
it's Arcana.
Uh,
Quindamir did succeed at it, and I told him. Um,
okay.
the Sahedron rune, but I'll reiterate it. I'll have it where like he
Isn't that
reiterates like what
isn't
what
that
it
the
means.
same rune that's used right here on our map? It's in the center of the little legend that lets you know what's north, south, and the directional
It
icon.
is. It is.
So that's pretty much like the general symbol for all of the
Oh, you're right. The compass says that's
uh
crazy. I never noticed that. That's crazy.
that's the general symbol for the Runelords, it seems.
So if we trap down the map maker, We find our
Well, gentlemen, it would seem that we may be dealing with another possession. The only question is, out of the 7 disciplines, which sin is at play for this one?
Yeah, the Sahedron rune is an antiquated glyph that symbolizes arcane magic once practiced in ancient Thassalon.
Oh yeah, I remember. Okay, I
Um,
remember that. Remember that. So,
We
then
have dealt.
as for Katrine's body, she apparently her body she was killed instantly
hmm.
from because her mangled ruined remains lie on the mill's lower floor amid heaps of blood-stained firewood. Um, there's a pale-faced, obviously upset guard that stands at attention nearby. Um, it appears upon inspection that she was pushed into the log splitter,
Oh
Mm,
wow.
which
Oh,
is itself powered by a water wheel and consists of a chute in the floor with rotating saw blades that cuts logs as they are fed in.
hmm.
we have dealt with the rune sin of wrath already, but it would seem here that the common theme, if we are looking at the grotesque letter that was sent to Icarus, and when we look at the scene we have here between Bunny, Hackle, and Katrine, they were both lovers in secret, and both are here dead, dismantled in such a grotesque manner. But between the common theme, it seems that is something amorous. Which rune, which sin are we dealing with here? Is it lust? Is it greed? I would think lust is the one more attributed to romance or something amorous. I could be wrong, but that is the connection I am seeing here to just the power of deduction.
What the hell did that note say that Curse got again?
It said something about you will learn to love me in time. It was a
That
letter whose sentiments was
that's the
about
wrong
wooing
one.
her.
That's for the first. I mean, you guys will get that note later. That's the wrong one though.
Oh, you sent the wrong one by accident?
Yeah, I showed the wrong one by accident.
My bad, bro. Okay,
Yeah.
so do I have to take back that
I mean,
whole
it's
connection I was making?
no, no, the one that I clicked showed just now. That's the wrong one. I meant to put a different one. Um, I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. It's not like spoiling anything. It's something your characters will eventually get to soon. But um, I thought I had the note uploaded. What the note said was, "You will learn to love me, desire me in time as she did. Give yourself to the pack, and it shall all end. Signed, your lordship."
It's a good theory, Waylon. Um, however, the murders a few days ago was what did they say? It was three con men or three and a bodyguard.
Yeah, three common bodyguards in the asylum.
It could still hold true. We just need to figure out if those people were equally together as these were.
Hmm. Or perhaps it does not necessarily have to be lust from the standpoint of romance. Perhaps it could be lust for anything.
Lust
Lust
for
in
slaughter.
very well could be. There
Yeah.
are there are many things in this world that can bring about a state of arousal that may not necessarily be tied to the most common thing that one would find amorous, such as physical touch. For instance, I get very turned on when it comes to money. One could say that is lust. Gold. But let us look further. There must be some more clues around here.
Yeah, characters are free to let me know
Yeah, I'm doing
if you're, investigating the pier, the bodies, tell me what skill checks you're using.
I'm going to investigate the body and actually Icarus. I'm not sure how strong your stomach is,
Uh,
but due to your extensive knowledge in healing, you may have a better eye when looking at the bodies to be able to check for certain anomalies in the atomic in the structure of the anatomy. I will look more towards the things that I am more familiar with, such as the mechanisms that I see around me. But the bodies in particular, your abilities in healing will be able to check and see if there are any particular organs missing. Maybe he did something to the heart, something of that nature.
I will check and see if there's anything that is worth noting to these bodies.
All right. And then Lou, I am going to check um the the buzzsaw machine, the that he used to push that guy into and was used to cut the wood. I'm gonna check that.
all right.
Icarus, if
One
you
thing.
don't mind, could you spare us some of your magic? See if you can, if you have something prepared that could divine us some sort of clues as to what could have gone on here.
Um,
Yes.
Also, your characters notice that there's a lingering scent of decay in the air that seems curious, considering that the bodies haven't even had time to fucking rot. It smells almost as if an animal had died somewhere in the room and its remains were allowed to ripen. That's how bad it smells. Um, you go to inspect the bodies, Waylon, and you actually notice that
Icarus went to go inspect the bodies,
oh,
actually.
Icarus, you went to go inspect the bodies. You notice that that smell is strongest on actually no, Waylon, because you went to go check the log splitter, you said?
Yeah.
Okay. You notice nearby the log splitter that there's a hand axe embedded in the floor as if it had been dropped there, and the handle is covered with bloody finger marks. You
Hmm.
also notice that the smell, that rotten smell is strongest the closer you are to that axe.
Hmm. How many windows are in this place? Are there any open windows now?
As for it's at you're at the pier.
I'm at the pier. Okay.
Yeah. Um, Caldum, says to the group, "I'm gonna." He's like, "I'll look around to see if the murderer left any sort of trail, possibly." So he's gonna be
Is
looking around for that.
Lou, is there like a crowd at all, or is it the
Not
people like
there's a small there's a group of, not a huge crowd, but there's like a group of people outside. Oh, no, they're not at the pier, but
Mhm.
they're outside the building here, out in the street right here. I'll ping it like right
We
here.
I
you want to
kind
scan the crowd?
I kind of want to keep an eye on the crowd, see if there's anybody.
Can I use a
I don't know if I
sense
can
motive?
use yeah, sense motive, or I don't know if it's perception. I don't know what,
Oh
but
yeah,
like see
yeah,
if anybody's
yeah,
acting weird, or like
Oh, look
right.
for someone suspicious in the
Yeah, you're
crowd that
looking for
maybe want
any,
yeah.
to.
Right.
yeah.
Nice.
So your
Yeah,
character,
I'll do
Okay.
yeah,
that.
two monks are out there, pretty much assisting the guards to make sure
Being lie
everybody's like,
detectors.
but you're looking through the crowd trying to see if maybe you can either spot or sense some, get some bad vibes off of like maybe anybody in particular in the crowd. Um, in case the murderer's still hanging around. Um, at the moment, no, you don't. So yeah, I'll say it'll be some time as you're getting a feel for it. It's not like instant or anything. So,
Right.
but you're basically out there getting a feel for the crowd, and then like the certain individuals in the crowd.
So,
Um,
Luke, do I have to roll a? Would it be a survival or would it be a knowledge nature to try and figure out why why a decaying smell would just be strongest around the axe?
um, I would do I would do maybe knowledge nature.
Okay.
Yeah, I would do knowledge nature.
All right.
Are you examining the axe? Like,
Well, he was mostly just trying to sniff to find out like where the smell is originating from.
oh, okay. Then do a survival then. Do a survival.
Survival. Okay.
Yeah. As for Icarus, you whose body do you look at first? Harker's or Katrine's?
Katrine's.
You're looking at Katrine's body, and
Nice.
yeah, you were able to easily determine, what exactly had killed her. Um, you looking about, see if maybe there might be any clues to it. You don't really find anything of note. Um, Nothing left behind, nothing out of the ordinary, and then there's not much left to see. If anything maybe had been done to her prior to being pushed into the log splitter. Um, Her remains are pretty far mangled up to determine much of anything. As for Harker's body, other than obviously the roll a actually no, you could take 10. Um, Closer examination of the body reveals the presence of several additional wounds. And it's unlike the deeper splashes on the body. Icarus notices that these smaller gashes almost seems to have been made by claws. Claws on a five-fingered human-sized hand.
I'm
The
scared.
The rotten scent also seems very strong near these wounds.
Icarus with the CSI, yo.
Mm,
Waylon, with your survival, you were able to determine that not only you, as you know, you're searching around, trying to get a good source on the scent. You were able to determine that that the rotten smell is extremely strong on that axe, as well as near a few of the footprints in the area.
Okay. What type of
Calvin's
axe is it? Is it a kind of axe that you use as a tool to cut wood, or is it like a battle axe?
with the hand axe or log splitting,
Hand
I guess,
axe.
or like cutting wood.
Would I be able to use a no, I think it would be a knowledge check for that. Would it be a knowledge check for like or would it be a nah, because craft is strictly for making things. Yeah. I won't be able to use a craft check to figure that out. So I was trying to see if I could figure out who made that axe or who produced that axe.
You can handle the weapon to see to look around for any like specific markings possibly that like if it was made by a certain company or a
Oh,
specific.
can I use profession? My profession merchant
You
to
can
figure
use
out
your
who sells
craft.
that axe?
Do you have craft like weaponsmithing or
Yeah, I got craft
you've
weaponsmithing.
got several. Yeah, you can use a craft skill to determine
So you
that
can use a
knowledge.
craft skill. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I'll use my
Yeah,
craft
if it's a product in your line of work, you can use the craft skill as like to help with
Okay, cool.
you can kind of use it like a knowledge skill. However, as you go to like, you know, you're getting a closer examination of the axe.
Uh-huh.
The as you got close enough to like
God
start to
damn
like,
it.
you know, inspect it, you that 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 rotten smell is so strong, like extremely strong that you have to make a fortitude saving throw.
Damn. All right, I'll make that right now. I'll start puking. Because he definitely was taking a whole noseful trying to figure out why the hell it was a rot smell like on the weapon itself. Usually that comes from like an animal source rather than like an item. So 1d20 plus 5 for the fort. Where we at with that 18?
You passed. You passed.
Okay.
You avoided being second. Um, you don't have that, do you? No, you do not. And you're the only one by the axe. Okay. Does Cal? I don't know. I don't think Calvin has
Fuck does that mean, Lou?
it. Oh, I can't give it away. Who does anybody have it? No. No. No, wait. Does he have it? Oh, barely. Okay. Okay. Wow. Okay. That's funny. Anyway, um, what'd you get for the 22? Um,
Mhm.
the the axe looks like it was used within the last 24 hours. Um, and there's is there any? It's there's smears on the axe of what look like rotten flesh, and fragments of bone are caked on its blade,
Mm.
which makes it obviously odd.
And there's no markings or any
No, it just looks like a
There's no
simple.
brandings on it to
Don't.
show like who crafted it or anything like that.
It shows. It shows that the handle. Um. It shows that it was made on site. Someone on site with crafted the handle and then was able to get a blade attached to it.
Mm,
So
okay.
it's like yeah, it's part of it. It was made here at the lumber mill.
Okay. So that at least narrows it down. The weapon was procured here. So that means we could rule out anyone bringing a weapon in from outside the town. Okay. So then after that, he walks away from the axe and he goes over to Icarus to trade information. And when Icarus tells him about the the smell of decayed flesh on the wound, he goes over to that wound and he sniffs it. Is it the exact same smell?
Yeah, it is. Is the same smell.
Also mentioned that uh, there were claw marks, claws.
The
Yeah.
interest is the interesting thing, Icarus, is this. Whoever did this particular gruesome act, they had the capabilities of using claws. And from what it looks like the claws are coming directly from their fingers, or they are using a weapon that mimics the claws coming out from fingers, digits from an appendage. But why go through the trouble of using that axe as well if they already had claws available? Clearly, from the looks of it, overkill is not a particular act that is beyond this particular individual. However, to use both manufactured weapons as well as natural weapons, let's assume that the claws are natural because you did not detect any metals being used to make that claw wound on the neck, correct?
No, correct.
So let's assume that it was a natural claw that did it. What type of being do we know has the power to kill with claws as well as axe, as well as manufactured weapons? And to the degree so often that it leaves behind the scent of deaths that they have caused previously because they did not watch that weapon. In fact, that weapon was used to kill many times. And the reason why it smells of decay is because the person, the assailant, is not cleaning the weapon, just like they are not cleaning their claws. The filth of many deaths lays on their weapons and lays on their hands, or in this particular situation, claws. But we're talking about a person who has 5 fingers with claws on the end of it. It sounds like another situation involving Lamash too and her children, monsters. But monsters using weapons? When did this occur? Did it occur during the day or did it occur at night? Did you look at the bodies and determine the time of death?
Happened at last night.
So it happened at night.
Who wants to roll Caldum's perception and survival? Or if you want him, he could
What's
either
his?
roll. He could either roll or take 10. He has plus 10 to. He has plus 8 to survival,
Yeah,
plus 10
take
if
take 10.
tracking, and um he has plus 11 to perception.
Out of
So
character, I have a hunch, but in character, I don't think Wayla would know shit about it.
It's always tough to separate that shit.
Yeah.
To take 10 for his survival. What about his
Yeah,
perception?
we're gonna take. He could take 10.
All right, so he's got a total of 21 in the perception and 18 on the survival, 20 if he's tracking. Callum comes down from his inspection of the pier, and um he has this grim look on his face, and he's like, "So I found a set of muddy footprints. It looks like they lead from one end of the pier, went up to the mill itself. It looks like someone barefoot clambered up from the mud under the pier, crossed over to the mill, scaled the wall to an upper floor window to attack these two.
How big are the prints?
Human sized, about maybe a little bit bigger than my feet." He like lifts his foot up. And he shows you like the difference.
By the toes of the prints, are there any sharp indentations to show whether they were clawed or not?
No, they looked human.
Though only the hands are clawed, not the feet. Nuwalaya had one arm that was monsterized. It would be the only term I can think of. She did some sort of physical augmentation on herself to give herself a monstrous arm. Is that what we are dealing with here?
That is a possibility.
Because other than magics, that is the only way I could think of someone being changed anatomically, but not in equal proportion. Do you get what I am saying? Like if you were to do something to if you had a physical structure that incorporated claws on your hands, of course your feet would also be similarly clawed. If it was for lack of a better word, natural occurrence. So we're not dealing with a beast that is beast in full form. We're dealing with someone who's partially changed. Clawed hands but normal feet. And medium size, not large. I think it is Lamashtu's work. We already have the first example with Nualia. And since Nualia is still alive, maybe she holds some more answers for the situation.
Can I do a knowledge Lamont check to see if there's like any type of animal or
Oh, did you
or
go
beast
there?
that
Did you go to the? I guess you went to the scene? Or was it just
yeah.
okay?
Well, I mean, I guess
So I know you and Rakeem were out there. I don't know for how long.
yeah.
Oh, you know what? I'll say after some time, maybe like a minute or two, the two of you don't get any feeling or sense, or you don't notice anybody like really suspicious in the crowd. Nobody seems to be making any like be acting weird or whatnot. Um,
Okay.
Hey, Caldim, you said that the tracks followed down to be under the pier,
right.
so that means that the assailant came from the waters, is what you say.
Yeah, it's a good observation. Sure looks like it, I would say. And he's like, you know what? He's like, I'll be right back. And he goes over to the to to the muddy prints among the. He goes to the muddy prints under the pier, and he follows it. Um, and you see him standing at the water. He's looking around, and then you see him jump into the water and start swimming over here. Which is only about 40 feet away from the. Takes the easy brisk the brush stroke across the across the water. Calm water. It's nothing too crazy with the river right now. Um, and you notice there's a on the other side of the river from the mill is it's marsh. It's a marshy land. Um, he goes there, and while he's doing that, that's when I guess Nasir decides to when Nasir I guess Nasir was satisfied with looking over the crowd. He goes to the scene of the crime.
And walk over and I hear him say something about Mosh too, and I would like to do. Can I do it like a knowledge? I guess.
So you pretty much the group goes over what you missed, and as you're as you're noticing the smell and going to where the smell is the strongest as well. Um, roll a roll a religion check.
No.
Oi.
Oh God, Jesus
Nothing.
fucking Christ.
You're not sure what the heck that smell is other than Nasir's like this there's like a stench, such a strong stench of decay. Um, it would take a lot more. The thing is the smell is so strong. It would take a lot more than a dirty axe for it to smell like that. Like it's so strong that for Waylon, like he almost got like extremely abnormally like almost got sickened from it.
Yeah.
Um,
Almost like it's poison, like it's created, man.
and well, with Waylon's crafting, no, Waylon doesn't. As the idea with the poison, Waylon can check that he doesn't find any. He doesn't find anything uh alchemical or poisonous that was used in this incident.
Mm.
And Quendemir do Quendemir goes, well, if the smell is something that is so strong that it persists for more than 24 hours without any sign of lessening in its intensity, then it must be magical in some way. So he'll do detect magic on the axe.
There is no magic aura. No, or nor is there a lingering magic aura.
Mm. He strokes his chin, puzzled. I do not get any. Not only is there no magical aura currently on the axe, there is also no lingering magical aura. But how could the smell be so strong without any sort of magical help to it? And William also says, I have looked it over, and not only is it is not not being propensed by magic, but there is also no poison on the axe, and there is no alchemical tampering to it either.
Haldum has swum back over, and he walks over, you know, shaking off the water, like, twisting some, getting some water off of him. He goes, so I looked over in the marsh area. I found a relatively dry spot over there. There was definitely a number of barefoot human tracks. So yeah, the murderer definitely
Hmm.
came across from there into the across the water to make their kill. And that terrible rotten flesh stench was over there as well. The tracks lead from and into the river, but never away from the site, I noticed. The spot was hidden by several low banks of nettles, offered a perfect view of the mill to anyone that was hiding there.
So he was stalking his prey.
He's like, this is really strange indeed. Well, if any of you are done here, still got 3 more leads.
Well, the site is not going anywhere. So let us go and see out the other leads. And we will pull our information together and come back to any places that we feel we have missed.
Sounds like a plan.
Wait,
Let me look at. I'm gonna look at.
but how is it possible that this particular assailant could smell of rotting flesh and decay? Or then he or she gets inside of the water, swims all the way over, and the smell has not diminished. So much so that the assailant uses a weapon, leaves the weapon behind, and the weapon still smells of decay. The water didn't wash anything away.
Well, heck. Oh, and the Callum's like, well, he's like, hells. From what Icarus has found and discovered, they didn't even need the axe. If they've got
Another
claws, those claws looked as if they were as deadly as daggers.
another mind-boggling situation.
What does I know Pindamir has? Let me see through his divination spells. He's got augury, but that's for like a particular action, so we don't need that.
Yeah.
Uh, he's got what's embraced? Nope, doesn't need that. He's got heightened awareness. Oh, that's personal. He can only cast that on himself. So Pindamir makes note to the group that should they have to interrogate anybody, there's a magical divination that he can assault the target with that will give him great insight into any that will give him great insight, not like necessarily read their mind, but give him great insight into the target creature's secret motivations and desires. Also, he has divination magic that will allow his mind to correlate information more effectively. So he'll be using that to make sure, which will allow him to make praise, knowledge, linguistics, or spellcraft checks, roll twice, and take the higher result.
Sheriff,
He also has locate object, and let's see what else he has. Psychic reading. Ah, um, he has divination to read a person's surface thoughts and take cues from their appearance, body language, and manner of speech to infer a great deal of information about the person.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
but he doesn't have speak with dead.
no,
Oh.
he does not.
Hmm.
Well,
Hmm.
Well, it wouldn't work on it wouldn't work on Katrine's body. Her shit's mangled to pieces. And what's his name? Harker's body, the jaw was ripped off.
Damn.
Mm. So they're fake. They're
Well,
doing that shit on purpose, maybe. So you can't sweep them.
hey, Sheriff, would it be, would we be allowed to talk with Shaylis? Perhaps she can shed some light on some things about Katrine.
Ayla? Maybe she should be over there. She's over there by the concerned about her father. They're both at the they both at the barracks. That at the barracks for questioning.
Oh, she is already under questioning from the authorities, then we will talk to her later. No need to add extra pressure on her. So I guess we will go forward with the leads you already have ready for us.
He's like, well, you can talk to Ibor or Ven. And Shayless, he says Shayless is with Ven, so they're both there. So, but Ven's more of their suspect than Shayless is.
What about this Ibor? Why is Ibor a lead?
Not so much a lead as he's the only he was the only one he was the one that first discovered the bodies.
Mm.
Uh, he's actually Banny Harker's partner, and after discovering the bodies, it put him in the shock. He found them when he arrived at work this morning. We already interrogated him. I gotta admit that maybe you guys could get something more out of him than that we couldn't. So if you want to interrogate him yourself, you're free to do that. Um, I would recommend caution about not being too harsh with the interrogation, though. It appears mentally he's been through a lot in the last few hours. We got him in a holding cell at the garrison.
Luckily for us, he looks over at Aquindamere. We could afford to keep our questionings light, but still glean more information from just light interrogation. We will not add any extra mental pressure on him. After all, walking into such a sight first thing in the morning would rattle anyone's sensibilities. Where would I? You said Ybor is down by the garrisons.
Yep.
Well, I guess we'll make our way there. And then Waylon heads back to the wagon.
Um, I got one last thing I kind of want to look at here. The body of, what is it, Harker?
Yeah.
Am I able to like piece together at all, like just sort of for my own, like Rakeem's own knowledge would kind of be like looking at his defensive wounds and shit and try to see like where he was blocking, like how these attacks were coming at him and stuff. Is there something I could use to figure that kind of thing out? Glean anything about how this thing fights when it attacked?
Mm.
It was all,
I'd
all fours.
I'd roll either a heal or a survival.
Yuck and yuck.
You said a heal or
But the body's just been horribly desecrated.
Fuck it, I'm good. They're both the same actually. So,
Ooh, but the
I
19 though, bro.
I
Go.
It didn't look like
Amen.
it looked like Harker's. It looked like whoever had killed Harker had no skill or chance of fighting back his murderer. It it looked like he got slaughtered very quickly, and then um the mutilation of his body came after his death. But it looked like, yeah, especially with the information that Icarus has that they were the body was killed um by the assailant's claws. Not just and also it wasn't just Nualia had one claw. This one, it was with two claws. That was laying into the into Harker's body.
all right.
Oh, to the garrison you go, where yeah, quietly brought in, walk down towards Ibor's cell, and he's just you see him just sitting there like with the stunned look on his face. He doesn't even like really look up when you guys walk up to the cell. He's just in a daze.
Damn, son. Yeah, we pull up in the wagon and get out, man.
Yeah.
Get out what? Do you talk to him?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, okay.
So,
Um,
are you the one that they call Ibor?
he looks up and you notice he's got like blood on him, which the sheriff had said was um was blood that had gotten on him when he came into work, that was dripping off of Harker, because Harker was hung up. So like as he came into work and he's walking by, all of a sudden there's like he's noticed blood on
Damn.
him, and he's just like that's when he looked up. He's like,
Hmm.
um, that's what he looks
Damn.
like.
Ooh, we. All right.
Damn. That man has a rough life, bro. Look at his
Right.
face.
Ivor Thorn. Um, he looks and he goes, "Yeah, that'd be me."
Oh, I see that you have had quite a morning, to say the least.
Can we Dave said he lost his internet, but he's coming right back.
Oh, okay.
I would, but we'll both sense motive, whatever Ivor say. I'll roll sense. Oh, God, it's gonna be that kind of.
Is it safe to say, I board that you called Bunny your friend? Were you close friends?
Listen, I told the sheriff everything I know.
Ivor,
Any
believe
sense motive that?
believe me, believe it or not, I am here less to try and get what you said and more interested in how you feel. Feeling in this particular situation is more important than facts that you know. The look on your face, the pain that I see there in your eyes. I share a similar pain when losing somebody close to me. It may not have been in such a gruesome manner, but the loss of anyone in which you hold dear is something that shakes you to your very core. So let me ask you again, just so I'm making sure that I understand and I am not attributing a feeling to you that you do not actually possess. And the question is this: was Benny a good friend of yours?
Yeah, he was a friend. He was also my partner. Was. Hey, you notice that like Hawker's attitude is not really is he's not being unfriendly, he's just very indifferent.
Mhm.
At least to your characters. Um
And this is when Waylon looks over at Icarus and then turns around. He nods to Igor and then he turns to Icarus so that his back is facing Ivor, but his front is facing the rest of the group. And he puts a hand on Icarus' shoulder and pats her on the shoulder and says to her, "He will be more open with you than he will with me." And then he looks over
maybe
to he looks over to Quindamere and he gives Quindamere a wink. Basically, is the cue to fire up that magic. Fire up that magic. So the less we have to actually ask him questions, the less irritated he's gonna get. So
Renamir casts spell. And he goes I hope this doesn't anger him. He
Doing?
casts a spell. Well actually no, yeah, he lets Icarus go first.
Waylon takes a step behind Icarus.
I'm gonna start with
Because
a
the spell he has
diplomacy.
to cast, the target would have to fail the will save. So
Yeah.
Quinnemere is concerned about if if the man knew he was if the if the guy knew that the spell was being cast on him. Um,
So I keep him talking while Quindamir casts the spell.
yeah, you can make your diplomacy. Yeah, probably was. I was gonna say Waylon make the diplomacy, but it's good that he passed it over because it could be a chance you make his attitude worse if you fail too low. So, and I know he has a +3, so
Right. I already know I'm not the
yeah,
diplomacy one.
yeah. You did not want to. You don't want him to go from indifferent to unfriendly.
Right.
Um, Icarus. Feel free to talk with him. Get him to get him to share more than.
My friend, we're all in troubled times right now, but it is clear that there is someone on the loose that is running rampant here. And right now, we're shooting in the dark. Anything you know, she like kind of like brushes stuff off her shoulder. She goes, anything you know, anything would easily help us find answers for you, as well as the others at the lumber mill. We don't need this to spiral no more than it has. Townfolk will be concerned, and it would do us a great deal of service. It's just, if there's anything you can remember, it would gladly help us out.
He looks up to Icarus and he's like, and he nods. He's like, thank you. I needed to hear that. That was that was very soothing. It's true what they say. There's this grace about you, Icarus. All right, well, he sighs heavily. So, in case none of you have known already, Hawker and Katrine were a couple. In fact, they frequently had midnight trysts at the lumber mill. Uh, I heard they took Ven, her father. I don't think he, I don't think he's even capable of doing what he did to them. He's always been overprotective of her, and even though he didn't want her to have anything to do with Hawker, I I don't see him ever going to that level of insanity. Angry, yeah. Ven's the type that would brawl with you in the street for his daughter, but not outright murder. Not in that that and he like pukes a little bit on the floor.
Icarus kind of like gently puts her hand on his shoulder.
Let me grab my water. I'll be right back.
Um Caldum Callum's brows. Oh wait, no, he left the. I don't know if does he have a headset? He has a headset. But he take it off. I'll wait for Matt to come back. I think he has his headset off. So Dave's internet just went out.
Yeah, yeah.
Alright.
So he said he wants to do sense motive on all the stuff he's saying now.
Okay.
I don't know. You want me to roll for him or
Yeah, you can roll for him. He's got a plus 11 bonus.
yeah, 11? I'll do it in a different color.
Mm.
Mm. Uh, except for Icarus and Icarus, Callum. Callum, Nasir. Yeah, Callum, Nasir, Rakim, and everybody but Icarus and what did Quindamir have? Sense motive.
Oh,
I know his sense motive. Yeah, his sense motives. So I don't. Let me take off that.
what's my sense amount of +3? Yeah.
Yeah, so Icarus. Caldum passed. Nasir passed. Quindamir passed. Rakim passed. Everybody but Quindamir and Icarus, took what he said. Um, didn't everybody but Quindamir, everybody but Icarus and Wayland caught on, especially Rakim, easily caught on that Ivor is definitely holding something back. Definitely holding something back. There's something he's not saying. That he seems to, at least with Rakim in his 30 there, Ivor seems
30.
I he senses Ivor knows something, yeah, and he's too afraid to say it, but not for himself, as if he's hiding something about one of the victims.
Mm. Not Nasir asks um, Icarus if he knows anything of if they're like if they were worshiping Lamashtu at all, and maybe summon something they weren't supposed to.
Okay, so Icarus relays that, and Ivor looks up and shakes his head, like, no, nothing like that.
Sense motive.
Yeah. He sense that he's he's telling the truth. You get a good sense of like, yeah, I had definitely nothing Lamashtu related.
I don't know. Uh,
In the mirror, looks at Ivor and he's like, he asks him, is it something you're not telling us? Because some of us here can sense that there's more. And Ivor's like, no, 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 no. I assure you, there isn't. And your character's, he's hiding. The ones that pass those sense moves, like
yeah,
he tries to double down. It's not working. He's definitely hiding something about one of the victims. And
Icarus looks at Quindamir and everyone, and she trusts them more than she trusts him. So she becomes a little irritated, and she
so
looks at him, and she goes, "Whatever you're hiding, if there's anything you're hiding, people's lives are at stake here. That was
Takes his name.
diplomacy.
Yeah. He
If he keeps going up, the next one's gonna be intimidating, and I'm not playing.
he oh, well, even on the one with the 13, you passed. Um
Oh wow.
Oh wow, I heard a one.
he he seems hesitant at first, but then he looks at Icarus. He feels like this strong presence that she's pressuring him with, and he takes another deep breath and he's like, "All right, fine. Okay. I didn't want to. There is something." So Parker Parker's been cooking the books for some time.
Mm-mm-mm.
I didn't have any hand in these scams. I swear to the gods on that. But Harker's been dashing away some money by skimming from the top of the sales and business over the past several years.
What's he been doing with the money?
I don't I don't know. I do my best. I do my best to stay out of it. I don't want this coming back to me. I don't want to have. I just dare to do my job, make money, earn a living.
It's already too late.
Well, you know who owns
It's
the
going
lumber
back
mill,
up.
right?
Who's that?
The
I-
Scarnettis.
Scarnotis? Okay. Sorry.
He looks at Waylon. He's like, right, one of the founding noble families of Sandpoint, the Scarnettis. They're
Mm,
Gotcha.
we're gonna run into them sooner or later.
Right.
so he's like, listen, these are just rumors. I mean, anybody knows anything about the Scarnettis, they can be rather ruthless. There's rumors there's rumors going about that they're responsible for burning several competing grain mills in the region after all. And I wouldn't put it above them to maybe have hired someone to kill Harker if they found out he was embezzling their money.
Do you know who they might have hired?
He shakes his head. He's like, no,
Icarus
I
turn.
stay as far away as I stay as far away from anything of that sort or from angering the Scarnettis in any way.
Icarus shoots a look at Waylon, and she goes, "Well, we were gonna clash with them eventually. This is one way to do it. That's off the books. That won't make our new business look like the aggressors. But now
Well, considering the situation, I was hoping that the clash with them would happen more on a mercantile front. But if we are talking about the Scarnettis, this is not exactly a situation that they would want. This is resulting in a loss of money for them. The operation has been shut down. And according to what is being said here, the person dead was someone who was skimming money, cooking the books. Whether it was in their favor or not, any sort of evidence or any sort of implications for them, if they were on the receiving end of those cookbooks, lies dead with this poor man's friend. But more importantly, since the mill is owned by them and is now being shut down and not being worked, they are losing money. So they are most likely not the people behind the situation. In fact, they'll be more than happy to see us get this completely wrapped up so that they can reopen the mill and it's back to business for them as usual.
When Nemia looks over to his brother and he's like, oh, Caldum looks over to, yeah, his brother. Waylon, and he goes, so, put it simply, what you're saying is this does them no good for their business, and it's also an extremely sloppy job.
Precisely. As you already heard him say, there, there is rumors that they have burned down their competition.
Yeah.
But they remain completely in operation because they only remain as rumors, not as proof. They are not so sloppy.
Caldum nods. He's like, I agree that the Scarnetti thing could just be a red herring. To which
They'll keep.
Quindamir is like, yeah, we need to expect those as well, as in the red herrings that your characters might stumble on.
Well,
As with all good mysteries, anyway.
Icarus goes, well,
Says mode of the Scarnettis.
this isn't something that's a bad thing. And she goes, this would be bad publicity that someone died as one of their employees that we could use if we.
Oh, for sure. It will definitely leave a sour taste in the people's mouth to know that such a thing is happening right under their own roof. But then again, the same could be said for the glass works. And at the end of the day, the Scarnettis are one of the founding members of Sandpoint. So even with bad publicity, they are not a political and financial power that is going anywhere. If we are going to beat the Scarnettis, it must be with the pockets first. And publicity be damned. Money speaks louder than any sort of actions. Case in point,
Or with bad publicity, we can fuck their money up.
there are people who do not like the Scarnettis and the way that they operate monetarily. However, because they have such a monopoly, there's not many who can really say or do anything other than to simply pay and shut up. Until we can provide the people with an alternative means to be able to live comfortably, like getting lumber, for instance, they will always remain in the grip of, well, the Scarnettis. That is something that we will be able to address further down the line. For right now, we must do a business practice which is not particularly one that is glorious. And that is, we are the little guys, which means we have to keep our prices low and keep our heads even lower until we build up. But that is a talk for another time. That is business. Right now, we are dealing with a clawed, animalistic serial killer. And personally, the last time I remember someone coming from the waters was, what is he called? Chopper's Isle. Wasn't it a chopper who was on it? He was on an island or island that was off of the coast of Sandpoint. And now this person's tracks, they were sitting out in the waters, stalking a prey, and then swimming over to do the job. The operandi motus is what this is called. Seems very similar. Modus operandi. There we go. I had it backwards. I would like to go and check out that aisle for myself. Or we could go as a group because many eyes are better than one.
Yeah.
And we've all proven just now, we all have a particular set of skills that, when put together, makes for a good investigative tool.
Yo, can I ask a question? I could have sworn we got a letter that was talking about it was like a love letter or some shit to Icarus from the killer. Why does it sound like as if we don't know who the killer is?
Well, we know it's Foxgrove, but last time we checked, Foxgrove didn't have like claws. It didn't smell of decay. So as of right now, Foxgrove is a suspect, but we
Yeah,
still gotta find him,
and
motherfucker.
your characters also also don't understand why wouldn't understand why Foxglove is doing these seemingly random murders.
Right.
It's easy. He's a lycanthrope.
Yeah, but you would know that out of character, I suspect a lycanthropy, but in character, my guys know anything about that. Does Icarus know anything about lycanthropies?
I just feel like
It
my
could be.
character would have
It'd be
divined that by now.
it'd
Can he
be
do like a knowledge
it'd
check,
be a nature check.
basically? I'm pretty sure I have that. Can't I use the library and research what kind of a creature might might be capable of such a act,
Oh
random
shit,
act,
you
allegedly?
you do have it.
Got a few
Um,
things.
have Quindamere. Okay, so Quindamere does I already had him cast oh, what's that spell? Um, heightened
The one he was
heightened
Insidious
using
insight.
before.
he's got heightened awareness on, which gives him +2 to his knowledge check.
Nah, he should also be using investigative mind
And
when
that
he's
I
doing
have,
any
yeah,
sort of research.
that's the other two. I had both of those on him.
And so
Have
we
him.
have to reroll.
I totally missed that he I totally I look have Waylon roll 2 knowledge checks for Quindamere. When I first looked at his sheet, I didn't see it. I looked at it again. He does have a rank in this particular guild, which is religion. So roll that twice.
All right, so
Might get one
what's
more
the
clue.
modifier? What's the modifier?
He has plus 11. Yeah, plus 11, which he can roll twice and take the best.
So is knowledge religion?
Yeah,
Definitely gonna
yeah,
take the 18.
definitely. So, with Quindamere having also been at the site and investigating alongside like Waylon and anyone else, he was able to, and
I would have used that
your
as the
characters also notice that he's casting, the spells that he's
second boost
casting
on
on
too.
himself is like, you see like this wave of magic form over him, like, um, you notice like this extra sparkle, like magical sparkle, like if you were to look at his eyes closely, as if and then like there's like this aura, um, slight aura around him, especially around like his mind. Um, but yeah, as he finishes casting those spells and he's like investigating with everyone else, the the stench, the stench, he tells the group is the reason. He tells the group that the stench is actually a lingering stink of corruption. It's it's definitely beyond that which a dead body can even normally produce. Um, what do you get? A 29? Oh, damn. 29. Yep.
Yeah, 18 plus 11.
Yep. So he explains to the group that during his studies with into the religions of the world and the undead that they either have or have to fight against, um, he grew curious over after their after their second battle where they had to deal with undead. And he realized it would be some important information to learn about the more common creatures of negative energy so that the group has a better chance of fighting against them when the time comes. In particular, he had been, as he was studying the undead creatures that are known from the books and from the people around and from the sages he's discussed with, um, he says this stench in particular matches exactly the description of a stench that he has read about when it comes to not just ghouls, but the more corrupted and stronger form of a ghoul known as a ghast,
Mm.
which Quindamir has deduced that the murderer is most likely an undead humanoid,
That would
particularly
explain the
a
clawed hands and
particularly a
normal feet.
ghast, which would explain the clawed hands, the feet, and definitely the stench.
Mhm.
Oh,
The stench of a ghast is unbearable.
The shit came back, y'all.
Just in time. What up? What up?
So there,
Brendan cracked the code
Quindamir,
on what
yeah,
the
Mhm.
Quindamir
actual assailant is. He had
cracked
knowledge of
the
religion.
code, and he beat the DC by more than by 10 or more, and was able to deduce exactly what kind of stench that was.
Yeah, he got an 18 plus 11.
Oh, shit.
I know he's
Mhm.
sitting on that train, fucking beaming right now, like yeah.
Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, that's another. That information. In fact, more XP has been awarded.
Nice. Let's go.
Well, may have been. Should have been. May have been,
May have been.
He changed it. He changed that so quick.
may have been. Um, could be a troglodyte. I thought. Random ass troglodyte assassin. Um, so yeah. Characters got awarded XP for identifying the Sahedron rune and deducing the murderer watched the site and used the river from across the in the marsh, and learning about Harker's greed and his money embezzlement, as well as discovering that the murderer may be a ghast. And which leaves two remaining things. You can do this in do this in any order that you wish. Is uh going to speak with Ven or checking out the barn where the first murders happened.
Mm, good question. We should. I
Mhm.
think we're on a hot streak right now. We're talking to people. We should definitely do that.
Yeah.
And we can go check out the barn later.
That was good.
All right. You go back to the garrison. This time you go to a different cell. This one holding Vinder, the owner of the general store. And let me grab his pic because I thought I uploaded it. I did not, but I got it here. Um, then download. Where is it? Wow, I closed it too fast. I was like, where the fuck is it? And I just hit download. Oh, that's why I couldn't find it. Hurt. It's in the wrong fucking folder. Okay. Ben Vinder. So
This dude looks like a Mormon.
he the sheriff explains when he told Ben about his daughter's death at the mill that he flew into a rage and they had to take him into custody to cool off. Um, and he's like, that man, that man can. Don't let his looks fool you. That man can fight. He fought like a devil for sure.
Yeah, he looked like he
Um,
could fight and build a barn in like one day.
but he goes, I'm pretty sure that he's like, personally, I can assure you that that rage is born from just learning about his daughter's death. He goes, in fact, I was just, I was figuring it was of releasing him later tonight so that he can go tend to his family's needs, but you can speak with him first.
Well, we may have some news that will, while it will never soothe over the pain of the loss of a child, it definitely will put him in a better place mentally. And that is through the genius and the arcane work of my brother Quendamere. We have deduced who the culprit, or at least what the culprit is. We will make sure to pass that news on to Vid himself.
So you go to Ven, who's in his cell. He's like, see him shaking his it's like shaking his leg. You see his fists just constantly balling up. He looks over when he hears your group walk towards his cell, and he looks over, and his you can see like he wiped his like he wiped his eyes as if like trying to get some tears out, and then
Mm.
he just puts on the most angriest face that you can see on this man, and he looks at your group and he's like, fuck do you people want?
I look over the Icarus and I'm like, it is a job for you, lady.
I don't want to speak with any of you. Ever since you people showed up here, and now you're here in Sandpoint, I bet you one of you probably did something, brought more calamity on Sandpoint, and got my daughter killed. You guys have been making your home. You guys have been a bit too comfortable here in Sandpoint. Don't like your kind around here.
I was waiting for
Fucking,
it, like, here it comes.
fucking elves and Mwangi people.
This probably wouldn't be a good time to pull the masks off, huh?
Yo, you'll see all the fucking races come out of that motherfucker. And fucking goblins too. Fuck y'all. He'll
No
try to bend.
diplomacy would work.
He'll try to bend the fucking bars at that point. Yeah, he is. He's in a fucking mood. Tell you that.
That's diplomacy. Do I want to? Wait.
He is unfriendly.
Does he have? Did he have
Huh?
any
I
people
mean,
that hated him?
his
Like
attitude's
opposite?
unfriendly. So if you're doing diplomacy, to change it.
Did he have any people he was speaking
Let's
with? And,
go.
like,
I think I'm gonna do diplomacy because I was gonna do intimidate, but like, nah, we'll wait on that.
Any people that what?
Yeah.
DC 20 plus his charisma modifier, but you also got an additional penalty because he's one of the definitely one of the few people in town that's not really too satisfied with your group having taken up residence here.
So I rolled a 28.
Well. Icarus's charisma is 2 on point apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So
I finally found my shine.
so what does Icarus say to
So
calm
she
him
goes.
down enough?
She goes. She takes a second and like let him get his words out. And she goes, I want to first off say that I'm sorry about the loss of your daughter. I believe that nothing. Hold on. I believe that nothing can take that pain away. And honestly, I personally would do everything I could to remedy that pain or take it away from you, essentially. But to move past that, even for a moment, more lives are at stake here. We have people being essentially mangled at the lumber mill, and more bodies are coming through. And we can only imagine what will happen later or more if this continues.
More bodies. More. I knew you people were some sort of a hex bringing bad trouble here. There's
But
more, and the sheriff didn't say anything.
But to blame us, I can understand your rage. But to blame us for
Fucking sheriff, I should deck him in the mouth next.
to blame us what is happening is it is fueled by
Yo, Samuels, your mic. Yo,
it's
Samuels, your mic.
fueled by this anger that is misguided. When you think about it, we have helped with the goblins, we have helped with the mines, and now we are again helping with the murders. And we're not asking for anything, payments, collaterals. Well, he doesn't know that. We're not asking for those. What we're asking is to just exist. And I believe that the information you could provide would not only save countless other lives from being lost, but to give you a sense of peace that you have done something that could help make Sandpoint a better place. Make Sandpoint great again.
He rushes up to the cell gate, grabs the bars, in such a like in a flash. Almost Icarus for a second thought maybe he was gonna lunge at her through the bars or something, but he just
Mm.
grabs the bars and his face is red, red from anger, and but Icarus can sense a deep sadness there. He's like, as he grabs the bars, he's like, "What can you do about Green? What can you do?" And like he slides down the bars and he starts to cry.
Icarus sits
Screams,
on the floor.
screams, and his scream echoes throughout the hall.
She sits on the floor, like on the bars next to him, to like meet his
Like, you
level.
guys, you can't bring her back. God.
She goes, "You're right. We can't bring her back. What we can do is prevent it from happening again from someone else's daughter."
Icarus, this man does not want to hear about somebody else's daughter. I have lost my father, but not in a violent way that you have lost your daughter. So I can tell you what we can do. We cannot bring her back, it is as Icarus says, but we can give you the next best thing. We can give you vengeance. We know what killed your daughter. It was the undead. A particular type of undead, actually. A ghast. And while the technical term means nothing to you,
I,
do know that we will bring it, its defeated corpse, and bring it to you as the best that we can
why
give you.
is there a ghast here at Sandpoint? And he starts crying even harder. Starts to starts to make it hard to like even understand him as he's sobbing, screaming through his while he's sobbing. How? What did you unearth? What did first the goblins? Now this. It's just been trouble. It's been so much trouble, and my daughter got caught up in it. You find that gas. You find them. Find all of them. Whatever made the gas. I don't give a damn. You bring it here. You bring it here. You let me beat it to a pulp.
So be it.
I was like, Icarus says silent on that one. She does say though, you will receive the justice you are due. And as Waylon said, the vengeance you deserve.
Sheriff walks over and he's like, they'll take care of it, then. We'll take care of it. When I have my men, when they double their shifts, don't worry. calm down enough in there, I'll let you out tonight. You have your wife and Shaylis to take care of. Don't forget about her. She's over there with your wife right now, trying to console her. Still have family left over. Worry about them right now. We'll worry about bringing justice. Well, then, just on the floor now, just sobs, nods, but sobs, and pounds his fist into the floor a few times, knuckles red and bloody.
Man needs a therapist.
And Sheriff Hemlock is nods your characters to like head on out.
Since coming to Sandpoint, I have seen tragedy take a full turn. First, it was a goblin consuming a father who had given his life to protect his family. And now I have seen a ghast take a family member away from a father. I could only say that I am glad that I am here to at least right some of these wrongs.
I can see where the desire for vengeance can come in.
I intend to do exactly as I said. I have not figured out how exactly, but I will do it. I will bring the gas back here, bound, so that it may find its end at the hand of the person most wronged by it. It is a dangerous thing, I know, so don't bother even giving me the spiel of it. I understand. However, there's something I need to see, and I can only see it once this man has come to that conclusion, has reaped the vengeance that he seeks.
You will get no lecture from me. While I've never have personally experienced the loss that he's felt and you've seen, experienced, I can see the anger and the sadness that comes from it. And I have seen that sadness before. And now there's something we can do about it.
Indeed. Indeed.
Have up in the mirror roll 2 history checks.
And what's the modifier on that?
Um, it is thus 14.
Damn. That was almost a 20.
All right. Oh, he's got the 31. Windermere brings up conversation he had with Brodert Twink, who is a sage that lives in town. He's actually moved to Sandpoint because he is a sage that, and in fact, he lives here, not too far from your character's place of residence. Lives near the old light because this guy, Brodert Quink, is an expert and an authority when it comes to Varisian history.
Mm.
Quindamir is concerned about the Sahedron rune that was carved. So that one seems also very, very odd, even for a ghast to do. Um, so he tells you about a conversation he had with Brodert Quink on, one of the sages that he's talked with and learned from in the past couple of months. Characters have been here, get his knowledge ranks up. Um, and this man moved to Sandpoint to study the old light. This place right here. He he is very interested in studying the law of ancient Thassalon. So with that, him and Quindamir share something in common.
Mm.
The remains that have been gathered of this ancient empire were from barely legible carvings on the surviving monuments, or they were extracted from the myths and oral traditions of Varisian seers and storytellers. Vassalon was a vast empire ruled by powerful wizards. The sheer size of the monuments that they left behind testifies to their power, and the unnatural way that many of these monuments have resisted erosion and the march of time testifies to their skill at magic. Waylon Waylon knows this all too well. Him and Quindamir being in Magnamar, where that bridge itself is an awe-inspiring work of magical architecture.
Yeah.
Something that Waylon recalls seeing Quindamir, looking at fondly, or whenever he daydreamed. As he almost as if like he wished he could go back in time 10,000 years ago to experience the height of such a magical nation. Basically, Fastlon would be the fantasy version of
Yeah,
your
bro.
characters as much as this is a fantasy version for us. Um, he says that
Okay.
Broder. He
Well,
says
I'm
while
listening.
he says while most sages
I'm
place
listening.
place the height of the empire around 7 to 8,000 years ago, he has reason to believe it was much older, no sooner than 10,000. Uh, Quindamir recalls talking about old light, and one of the conjectures that Broder had shared with about old light was that it was most likely, possibly, some sort of that's a theory. It's a vague theory, but he believes it was some sort of war machine that was probably capable of spewing fire from its peak. But as for the star, it is one of the most important runes of Thassalon. That star itself is known as the Sahedron rune. It signifies not only the seven virtues of rule, which have been agreed among scholars to have been wealth, fertility, honest, honest pride, abundance, eager striving, righteous anger, and rest, but also it represented the seven schools of magic that were recognized by Thassalon, which which Quindamir points out, divination magic was not one of them. It was not. It was actually not held in high regard by the ancients. But what is understood about Thassalon indicates its leaders were far from virtuous. There's a belief The classic mortal sins, greed, lust, pride, gluttony, envy, wrath, sloth, they rose from the corruption of these Thessalonian virtues of rule. In either event, that rune was certainly a symbol of power, one that may well have stood for and symbolized the empire itself. So the fact that the killer carved it into the flesh of his victim points to the fact that the murderer could be some sort of scholar. With that, that leaves the last remaining lead to check out. So Quinamia goes, which leaves us with one remaining lead to see if this all sums up with what we've collected here. I say we head over to that barn.
Yeah.
So if there's nothing else,
Darn it.
nothing, characters go back to the Red Lotus. You inform the sheriff where you're going to be headed. He gives you directions to get there, and Waylon gets the horse and wagon with some supplies on there, and your characters make your way
Temp.
towards the towards where the first murders had happened, which he says
And we're
happened,
home
which
now.
what the what the sheriff had explained was happened 2 days ago. And he tells you that a patrol of guards along the Lost Coast Road, they were they were assaulted by a deranged man near an abandoned barn south of town, along the banks of Cougar Creek. From what they could tell, the man seemed sick and insane. They uh, they described his flesh as being fevered. His eyes were wild, mouth frothing, clothes was caked in blood. When he got subdued, they checked inside and had found the mutilated bodies of the three men.
Uh,
They were far too disfigured to identify. However, one of them did carry this, and the sheriff hands you this note.
damn, a deal has come.
That your lordship again.
He goes, so that's how we figured out it was Tarch Mortwell, Linnea Hask, Gedwin Tabe. They're notorious conmen. They're swindlers, local troublemakers. I personally forbade them from operating their con games and some of their barely legal operations here in Sandpoint. So I'm not surprised that they were killed. I've warned them time and time again, and it was only a matter of time before they tried to swindle someone worse than them, after all. All three of them had the same marking on their chest of what happened to Harker.
The saps.
He says if you want to see the bodies before you check the barn, we have them in the basement below the garrison.
Gruesome work, but still work that needs to be completed. Was there any weapons that were left behind for this job as well?
None, other than the weaponry that the men carried. There was none.
Hmm.
As for the man that they caught that was alive, his name is Grace Sevilla. He's a local Verisian thug. Because of because of his condition, he had to be sent to the sanatorium. So if you're curious about him, after you check the barn, you can probably make your way to Habe's. See if Habe will have you talk to him.
Appreciate it.
But hopefully you'll get something out of him. They say he was a bit off his rocker. Here, and he hands you a letter. It's a letter of introduction to Habe, if he asks. He's a private man. Doesn't really like unexpected visitors, especially very busy, he says. But with this letter, should have he'll see that you have the authority to be there to question him if you have anything to ask him or to at least seek grace yourself and speak with him.
Thank you for your assistance in this matter.
Quite welcome. Well, I'm gonna get the men ready to have to tell them the news, get them ready, hold their shifts. If we come up with anything, we'll let you all know. Good luck. May Desna guide you.
You as well.
Well, so what do your characters do? You want to see the bodies? You want to go to the barn?
We'll check out the bodies, then check out the barn.
Shows you
Since
the
we're dealing with
bodies.
undead, we don't know where these bodies are gonna come back to life and shit. You know, we gotta be careful.
You check the bodies. Yeah. You
Right?
check the bodies, Icarus, and tell that they're still very, very dead. um,
I mean, so is undead. You know, whatever, right?
in fact, decay has set in on them already. So, um, but she does notice that all three bodies bear the same claw marks that killed Harker. That had sliced into Harker's body.
Do these ones look like they put up more of a fight, or do they look like they just got slaughtered as well?
They look like they did put up more of a fight, but not a very long one.
Mm.
Whoever did it to them was very skilled. Not that these men were not that these men were like great warriors or anything. They were con men, rogues, if anything.
Possible that there's two killers.
And as for the barn,
Mm.
oh, okay. Your characters go to the barn after checking over the bodies, and you can see remnants. It's been a few days, but you can see remnants of when they had hauled the bodies off, and as your characters inspect the place, you you smell that same. You don't. You barely smell it It's very faint. That stench that hangs in the barn, that gas stench. Although because it's faint, it's not enough to really, affect your senses as strong as it did the most recent murder.
But since we know we are dealing with a ghoul, or ghast specifically, we know that the hour of operations is going to be at night. No ghast is going to walk around in the broad daylight in order to do the deeds that are being done. So since we have an isolated point in which we can really worry about when it is mobile, it makes our job a little bit easier. It's just
We
I cannot seem to lock down a connection between how it is choosing its victims.
Yeah, because Calvin speaks up. He's like, well, there's got to be some sort of connection. We'll just have to take the information we have,
Mhm.
write them down, and we get back to the house. We can see we can put down, write down what they have in common, possibly in comparison to each other. I looked around all in this barn, not finding much of anything. This has been a few days, and the place was obviously the guards didn't really take time to not contaminate the scene. I say we go to this Grace guy.
Yes,
If
let us
he if
take a look at that.
since he's actually the only one that we know that's actually witnessed and even battled whatever whoever this guest is.
Mm.
Although I
when
can't
my
imagine. Oh, go ahead.
sorry, when my internet dropped earlier, I see you guys wrote some. You wrote something about Harker was embezzling money. What was that about?
Oh wow, damn, that was how far back you. Um,
Yeah, I'm just thinking about random shit, but
uh,
just that part in particular.
yeah, I couldn't remember when you actually cut out. What had happened was, most of the group realized that Ibor was still hiding something, and then Icarus convinced him to share it, and so he shared his own opinion, really, of why he thinks maybe Harker might have been killed. He says that Harker for he says, "You guys know who owns the lumber mill?" And Waylon was like, "Yeah, the Scarnettis." And it's one of the four founding noble families of the town. And he's like, "Yeah." And what they say about the Scarnettis, they can be kind of ruthless. I wouldn't put it, he's like, "Now these are just, these are just rumors, but they've attacked several mills in order to increase their own business." Um, he's like, "I wouldn't put it past them if they found out that Harker was embezzling money from their business for several years, that they might have sent someone after him." And then what happened after that was the group had Waylon, and I think it was Waylon and Caldum had put in their um
Two cents about
yeah,
it.
their sentence about it, which came down to everyone agreeing that it couldn't have been the Scarnettis because it happened at their business place, which is not good for their business. It also was very sloppy. Um, like to pin it on them seemed too easy. And then it was decided that like there was no point going to check out on the Scarnettis. That is probably a red herring.
Mm.
Plus, it's been revealed that this was an undead creature that did these killings, and As far as anyone knows, Scarnettis aren't dealing with necromancers or or undead creatures. As far as anyone knows, there's no
Right.
rumor. At least there's no rumors about that. Um,
If they are gonna hire a necromancer to kill somebody, it definitely wouldn't be in their own place of business. It would be at
yeah,
their rival's place of business. Because this is not making them any money having their mill shut down.
yeah. Authorities are involved. People are. Sandpoint's already gone through the traumatic experience of one grisly serial killer. If they find out about another.
There goes my political spot.
Well, if the news ever comes out that the killers got an interest in Icarus, they're gonna be like, "Well, this is Icarus's fault." Okay.
Yeah.
Um, it took your characters not too long, about an hour and a half to get to the Habe Sanatorium. As you cross over, is it across Cougar's Creek or it's near Cougar's Creek? Yeah, it's across. You go across a bridge that goes across the creek. And you can see in the distance the Ashen Rise, which is where Habe Sanatorium is located at the base. Um, and the Ashen Rise is the smaller of the two limestone escarpments in the area, the other one being Devil's Platter. The Ashen Rise is known to be a relatively safe uh, region. The only peril that explorers would likely face there are flocks of sturges or uncommonly aggressive ravens and crows. But the sanatorium is located at its base. You see a squat stone building. Looks like it has about 3 floors under a stout stone flagged roof, and it's built in the lee of the limestone escarpment known as Ashen Rise. And you can see as you get closer to the building, the doors, the stout wooden doors are they're closed, and the windows appear to be narrow. They don't seem to be more than 4 inches wide, just enough to allow air circulation, but definitely too small for anybody to squeeze through. And you make your way up to the doors.
Yep, yep, yep.
Who's knocking?
Knock.
Chris knocks.
Yeah. Beautiful damsel.
Where are we at? There we go. Caves. Sanatorium. The door opens. You see, appears to be one of the orderlies that work there, dressed in a light gray outfit. Um, and they don't even appear to be, uh, from the appearance of this orderly, you can see that they're not entirely human. They have,
Oh shit.
um, they're human in every way except for, um, very slight grayish tinge to their skin, and their eyes appear to be, the pupils appear to be like a more narrow, um, instead of round, more like elliptical. Um, some sort of not sure exactly what their ancestry would be, but clearly it's a human with some form of ancestry that's inhuman.
Hmm.
And this they open the door like, how may I help you?
I forget who we're here to seek an audience to
You're
for.
here to seek uh to speak with the head of the sanatorium. His name is Aaron Habe. You have
Okay,
also have a letter of introduction from the sheriff in case in
Speaking
case
of Aaron, I gotta check out Attack on Titan, man.
oh yeah, that last episode.
he goes, "Hello, my name is Icarus, and we are here to seek an audience, and we have a letter of introduction from the sheriff in hopes that it will see us through." And
So
she hands them the note.
they take the note. Actually no, they don't even take the note. You go to hand the note and they're like they put a hand up and they're like, all right, let me go get the doctor.
Trap.
They close the door.
Yeah.
They close the
Crap.
door. They close the door, and you can hear a lock flat, right? And then after a few moments, the door unlocks and it opens, and the doctor, Dr. Aaron Habe, is there. Uh, Dr. Aaron Habe. Well, the doctor, and he actually has that look at his face. Actually, he's looking at your group like
He reminds me of Finger from fucking Game of Thrones.
from Game of Thrones, Littlefinger.
Yeah.
Oh shit. Um, so he has that look at his face, like, and he's looking between the group, and he looks very confused. And he's like, "What is it that you need? I'm very, very busy here. What is
Well,
the importance of this matter?"
we are, to put it plainly, someone has someone has been killed. Multiples have been killed, and we're really here to ask a few questions in hopes that we can find some more information so we can solve this as quickly as possible. If you don't mind having an audience with us.
Roll diplomacy with an additional +2 bonus as he takes the letter.
Let's go. Let's go.
And busting it out.
You can see the look on his face that, like, yeah, he really didn't want to be disturbed, that this was bad timing, but he concedes. He changes his demeanor very quickly into somebody that's more um, uh, professionally receptive. And he opens the door and he's like, "All right, fine. You may come in. I'm aware of the murders, and I take it that the sheriff." And he looks at the letter. He's like, "Yes, you're here to see Grace Sevilla." I You may see my patient shortly. I will have my orderlies prepare for him to come meet you. But it can only be for a few minutes. He's like, if you please, may you wait. I'd like for you to wait here.
Oh wait.
How do I? Hold on. I'm using this new. How do I switch over to the fucking? I'm trying to, I'm trying to move the thing over so I can get you guys with another map. Okay. Oh, that's a weird spot to put it. Select all. Oh, how do I change? What the hell? Okay, I'm having little technical problems because I'm using this thing with the folders. I have this map on its own folder, but I can't switch. I can't. I'm grabbing the little bookmark where I can change the player. I can change what map what map they're using, and it's not letting me. It's not letting me drag it into the fucking map. Oh. Oh. Okay, that's weird. So if I do this, will this work? Oh. Okay, that hopefully worked. Everybody on a different map? Looks like it. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on a map where everything is blacked out.
All right. Figured it out. Then the other thing I gotta grab is your character's token. Copy and reveal the battle chongo. Reveal. And your characters are in the room A. Okay. Yeah, he wants your characters to just hang out in here until he gets race. So feel free as you go
Stand
onto
on the
the
wall.
as you go. Well, yeah, you had to get onto the veranda to knock on the door. The veranda has old floorboards. They creak under your weight. Um, you enter through the reception area, which would be through here.
Can move my dude around.
Oh, oh yeah, because they're brand new, controlled by Raheem. Yeah,
I
brand
can
new
move
to
Callum
you.
for some reason.
I put his for everybody since he's
Oh,
not
okay.
because he's not gonna be running his character until he gets.
Oh, sweet. There it is.
You went through the reception area, which was here. That room contains a desk, 3 chairs. There's a cord that hangs from a hole in the southern wall above a sign that reads "Ring for Service." Um, from here, your character he took you guys into this room. Um, that room looks to be a workroom. It's a disused area. Serves as what appears to be a sort of a combination kitchen and sewing room. Um, Aaron Habe is he goes, sorry, don't mind the mess. I had planned for this area to be a place for the patients to pass their time stitching clothing and keeping themselves busy, but we have a lack of patience here. He talks to one of
Uh,
the he talks to one of the he talks to the orderly that had let you guys in and tells him you hear him orderlies and you tell him to he's like, go get Gurnak and bring Grace, and the orderly nods as he leaves. You leave to go. Where are the stairs that go? Stairs that go. Where's up down? Up down or up? Oh, okay. They go up. Okay, what I thought. Go to this door down here and goes up the stairs. And Grace, after a few minutes, oh, no. Oh, I spelled the name wrong. So they bring Grace, completely wrapped up in a straitjacket. The orderlies do their best to bring him to your characters.
Damn.
He got
His
fucked
skin
up.
is pale, looks gangrenous. His hair is wild, eyes are milky white. Um, guys want to make heal checks? Icarus, was that was your heal check? 15.
Mm-hmm.
You realize that Grace is actually quite sick and looks to be close to death.
Oh,
He
very
um he appears non-responsive, wrapped in a straitjacket. Um, Habe and the orderlies stand nearby. So Habe's over here, and the orderlies are here. And Aaron Habe goes, all right, go ahead. Only a few minutes now.
I don't know if we're gonna get anything out of him, to be honest. At his state.
Dude is wild. He is wild for the night right now.
Well, if you will.
He does like this.
Hello. He goes, I'm Icarus, and these are my friends. We're here to ask a few questions, more or less, to get a gauge on the events that has happened at the lumber mill and the deaths.
Okay. Roll a diplomacy. Like Icarus has been rolling this shit all
Let's
fucking night.
Yo.
go!
Grace looks at you and he's like, wow. No. And he like gets really close to her face. And the razor is too many teeth. Too many teeth. Hmm. Hmm. He like leans over to Icarus again. The skin saw man is coming.
Skin saw.
Oh man.
So man, that skin saw man. The skin saw. He looks at Icarus again, and like he has this. Icarus is looking at him, and he's looking at. But this time he's looking at Icarus as if like he recognizes her, and he goes, "You, you're the one." Yes, yes. His eyes bulge as he like rushes. He's in a straitjacket. He like rushes over to her, like real close.
Wow. Scary shit.
All right, and he is like, he said you would visit me. His lordship, the one that unmade me. said so. He has a place for you. Precious place. I'm so jealous. I'm so jealous. Message that he has for you. He made me remember it. He made me remember it. He made me remember it. Made me remember. I hope I haven't forgotten. I haven't forgotten. Master wouldn't approve if I forgot. Let me see. Let me see. Wait. Let me see. I said wait. Don't move. Let me see. He said that if you came to his misgivings, that if you joined his pack, uh, 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 he would end his harvest in your honor.
That was my political standpoint because Habe now Earl is shit. Man. Hey, I gotta kill Habe now.
You can roll for those with local check with local ranks can roll a knowledge local.
You express an interest in politics, and suddenly the smear campaign begins.
It just begins just like that. Like Habe was like, "Oh, this bitch is the reason for this."
Okay, Icarus, upon hearing misgivings, doesn't understand what that means. Anybody else with local?
Yup, I got it.
I'm stuck between two. Are these like benches or boxes?
I think they're supposed to be boxes.
No, I rolled a 5 as well.
It's 12 total. All right. The last one that remains would be Kaldum. And no, wait, I'm pretty sure Kundamir has knowledge local. He does. Roll for Kaldum. Kaldum has I'll say okay, he casted 2 of those spells. I'll say Kundamir casts those spells again when he arrives because they only last 15 minutes for him.
Mm.
Obviously they wore off by the time your characters got your stuff and made your way to the barn, and then from the barn you went to the sanatorium. So he's had to recast them. Um, but Kaldum has +7 to his local, and then Quindamir has plus uh 11, and he can roll twice.
Okay, this is Caldum's.
Decent.
Okay, and then 2 rolls
And
for Quindamir. Oh shit,
20.
Quindamir.
Damn, it's 1:30. I gotta go, guys.
Oh. Quindamir goes the misgivings, and Kaldum looks over. He's like, "Yeah, heard of that also." And before the two of them were like able to reveal what more they knew, um, Grace collapses, and there's just this low moan that's just issuing out from him. He's mm, mm,
Icarus kind of leans down. Habe.
mm. He just reaches and lurches up back on his feet,
The fuck?
and as he's screaming at the top of his lungs, his straitjacket rips open,
Habe.
and he lunges at Icarus.
And
And we'll leave it there.
Damn!
Mm.
That is a stopping point.
Disrespectful.
Word.
Habe fucking knew this was gonna happen. That man's guilty. He knew this was
Good
gonna
night,
happen.
fellas.
This on some Silent Hill shit, bro.
All right,
Crazy session, bro.
they got a horror theme going with this shit.
For real. That was a good session, guys.
All right, next
I guess.
Tuesday. Have a good night.
Peace.
Good night, fellas. Peace.
Damn. I
Good
thought he said he
night.
had
Thanks
a.
for the
He left that
entertainment.
2.5 hour train ride. Shouldn't you have been home like an hour ago? This guy. What the fuck?
I have so many issues, bro. I'm trying not to like. I'm trying
Damn.
not to spaz. I'm trying not to spaz out, but let's just say thank God for D&D because it entertained me on this trip the
Ah.
entire time. I only jumped. I only chimed in at one point because I was like, "Why are we still here?" I'm pretty sure Quindamir could figure this out, but whoever was RPing him was doing a good job. I think that was you and Matt Johnson. I don't
No, it
remember.
was me. It was me.
Oh, okay, yeah, I think you handled it just fine, man. I think it's
Yeah. I mean, I know I had a feel. I know in the beginning people were like, "Oh, I think I know who it is," but like as the adventure is going on, like there's
more
like
developments
I
and
said, there's red herrings. Could be right, could be
right.
wrong. There's these clues and these reveals that are like, well, it sounds
Mhm.
like this guy, but now it feels like it's somebody else. And plus, in character, your characters have been in Sandpoint for 2 months, so it could be any almost well not anybody, but there could be several others that have been
Right.
infatuated with Icarus over that time period that that have chosen to
Off panel,
but yeah, off
maybe.
panel. Yeah, even off panel. But yeah, no, I'd say it's perfectly fine for the characters to be like, you know, Foxglove is on our list because he's the first guy that we know who would probably be a nobleman and would refer to himself as lordship that would be doing this. Although
Right.
it's like what Waylon
He's
said, like,
very
oh yeah, but
rapping
I
himself.
like you guys could put him on the list. Waylon's like, I don't remember him being a gas though, but just in case, you guys are like, let's not rule anybody out. Let's put down everybody we know for sure is infatuated with her, and then we rule them out. So,
Right, right.
so he's on the list. That's perfectly fine. But you don't want to go running up to the guy and be like, you guys are collecting enough. You're collecting evidence. You got to make sure whoever you're gonna pin it on is actually gonna be the one.
Substantiated
Yeah,
claims,
yeah,
right?
yeah, right, yeah. I don't think anybody here wants to pin it on the wrong person, and then the real
Yeah.
murderer is like,
Imagine. I'm surprised that I don't know too much about a gas, but I feel like I didn't know gas could like go between their forms like that. Like,
Well,
because
no.
he's
With your knowledge check, gas are in a one would well, if you're a necromancer, you would say an improved form of a ghoul, whereas everybody else is like
Mhm.
a more corrupted and vile form of a ghoul.
Right,
Because
right.
they're a more corrupted, vile form of a ghoul that ends up developing a nasty stench that's almost that's very hard to physically
Take.
resist. It'll leave you sickened if you fail your fortitude, and
Mhm.
they are tougher and stronger than ghouls, and uh,
So that's saying Foxglove is a ghoul. I mean, is a gas.
it's a ghast, yeah.
But doesn't that mean that
Judging,
he's like able to be like looking normal throughout his
um,
daily life and like have
so
this other form,
from what Quindamir knows,
or is it like a vampire?
is that it's not hindered by it's not hindered by sunlight or anything. It can roam about however wherever it wishes, really. Um, Except that stench is a dead giveaway. It's not like they can turn that off, so they're not going to be around. They're not going to be in public.
Right.
Whoever this ghast is has a hideout somewhere and is leaving that hideout to commit these atrocities. And the so
The
so the
reason why we weren't able to see. So the reason why we weren't able to, why he didn't stand up to us before is because he was masking it, or no?
What do you mean?
Because he should always have his stench, right?
Oh, well, yeah. And the stench, your characters noticed the stench by there was an axe at the site of the murders, and it had bits of rotten flesh on it, and it was really strong there. A few of the footprints, especially the barefoot footprints, there was a stench in the area of those footprints. And then Caldum went across the river to check out the marsh. He found a clearing that had more of those footprints, and um but he couldn't find out where those footprints were leading. It was as if the footprints went into the water. They didn't lead so they didn't lead away from the shoreline and deeper into the marsh because he's like, there's no tracks there I could find. Um,
Right.
but there was a stench there also. So, but
Okay.
as if Wayland pointed out, this guy's smart, which Ghasts are. They're intelligent. They have the
Mm-hmm.
same fucking intelligence that they had in life. Um,
Right.
they Wayland's like, this guy's smart. He's been using the river to cover his tracks because obviously, um, which points
Thank you.
out
Have a good night.
which points it out to more obviously it being an undead creature because since they don't need to breathe, the killer has been swimming or walking along the bottom of the river, came up on shore,
Yep.
stalked his
Yep.
victims, and then left the same way. So Callum was frustrated at that. He's like, I can't track him because he didn't walk on land to get here. That motherfucker either swam or something. But like
Right.
when it got pointed out by Quindamere that this is the smell of a gas. This is the claws match with like the claws of what a gas have claws and they have the stench and it would explain, he probably being undead is probably using the river like Caldum understood. That's when Caldum was like, okay, that makes sense why I couldn't fucking track him. So this guy, so what your character's doing is, you could try to get more clues to find out like who the ghast is and where it could be hiding out at. Um,
Yeah.
and luckily for your character, it's being pretty sloppy because it's leaving a trail for Icarus.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because whoever this is want Icarus, and is actually and according to the message by Great that he just relayed, um,
Right.
these killings are happening because for her,
Mm-hmm.
not because of her, but for her. Um, so it's both a bad thing because you guys don't want any more victims, but but the good thing is that the guys is leaving a trail. Um,
Right.
and that's I'd say that's where the group is at so far with the murder mystery. Um, yeah, I've had Quinn cast those two spells, and I figured those two spells would be the ones he'd cast, when they were doing the investigating. I didn't really have him do the insidious insight. I had it where he told the group it would be best to cast it on somebody that was willing, but in the
Mm-hmm.
case of somebody unwilling, um, he'll use it if the group agrees to it, because he would have to use it and hope, he would have to use it either on somebody that's willing, like, hey, mind if I cast this on you to make sure that make sure that you're telling the truth, or if it's somebody who's hostile or doesn't really or doesn't or not just hostile but is like very adamant at like keeping their mouths shut,
Mm-hmm.
that's when couldn't be like, all right, I guess we'll have to do this the hard way, like As for like,
I have to
as
do this
yeah,
the hard
the
way.
hard way. As for Ibor, he didn't want to do it to Ibor right away because he saw that Ibor was in a condition where he could take things very as if he suddenly had magic casted on him, he might be less inclined to talk. So he let Icarus do the talking first, and if Icarus had failed, then Quinn was ready to like, all right, I'm gonna do Insidious Insight and see if I can get any reading on this guy since he's not
Right.
since he's not talk
Hmm.
so like yeah
I feel
Insidious.
like I feel like I definitely like that spell. While it might be really really good, which I think it's really really good, but the issue that I have with that spell is that they have to fail a will save. So it seems like more like an interrogation type of thing. They already know they're going to be at a disadvantage, or they're already like helpless or at our mercy when you're using it. Or I mean,
Well,
yeah, they get this inkling. What's up?
I realized it I just realized it lasts 1 day per level.
Yeah, it lasts forever. So essentially, you can find the person that you're looking for in a disguise, use it on them, and then approach them normally and still have the bonus
Yeah,
if
yeah.
within a week's time or whatever.
I was gonna say Quindamir. I could see that spell being used in this situation on people Quindamir wants to use it on, and since it'll last 5 days, that means
Right.
any time that they have to go back to that NPC within the 5 days, he'll still have that bonus. So that's definitely a big benefit.
Honestly, it really doesn't matter if they know that someone is using magic on them. It's just that Quindamir would prefer if they don't know that it's him, right? In most
Right.
cases.
In most cases,
So,
right.
I mean, there's nothing really stopping me from wearing, like, getting a hat of disguise or using alter self.
Oh
just,
yeah,
just
you did have
being,
Alta
like,
Self.
there's nothing
You did do
stopping him.
that.
I mean, even invisibility for I mean, yeah, it'll break it, but like,
Yeah, he could do that.
I
So
am,
if he see
I imagine
if
there's
he's got a list of yeah, if you've got if there's a couple if there's a few NPCs he wants to do that to while this is going on, I can have him do that
right
on later on when he gets his
future.
when he gets his spell
Yeah.
slots back, yeah, like the next day or something. If they haven't figured it out today and they're spending
Right.
more days, he can be like, all right, I'm gonna do alter self, get this spell off on these people, and then invisibility myself and run away. And I and
There's
I
a
think the
couple of,
way
I mean,
yeah
this
yeah
he has days to basically to 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 uh to basically bank on it, right? He can wait. All right,
oh
let the
yeah
heat die
yeah
down for a little bit,
right
and then be like, you know what? All right, now let's go fucking benefit with this plus test bonus.
right.
Go see this guy again.
It's close range.
It's a weird spell
It
because of that
is.
will save. I'll admit, like you would think that it would go on myself and I would just have that bonus as I interrogate and deal with people, but because I have to do it on them, it just exposes me so much. I just
Yeah.
couldn't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is exposure. It is a
What's the
spell.
worst that can happen though? What is the NPC really gonna do though?
Well, here's the thing, the NPC wouldn't that's why it's best to like get them to
What's he
just
gonna not answer my questions or some shit? Like, what do you
that's
think?
why it's right. That's why it's best to get them to accept it. Like, and if you can't, then fuck it. Then just throw it on them and they fail, they pass, and not, unless he's casting it on another caster, they're not gonna know what spell hit them unless they like unless they got like a lot of ranks in spellcraft.
Right.
So, like if he, like if he did it on Ibor, like even if, even if Ibor passed the save, he wouldn't even necessarily know what it was gonna do to him. He'd be
Exactly.
like, he'd be like, you're trying to do some magic on me. Leave me
Right.
alone. Leave me alone. And then Quinn would be like, no, and he casts it again, and
He said no. Shut the fuck up.
like,
Do it again.
no, and do it again. He fails the will save, and you nod in satisfaction, like, okay. And then like even if he
Right.
doesn't answer your questions that day, like if you come at him at another time within the next 5 days, you still got the bonus on him.
Yeah, I don't even see. I don't. That's why I don't really understand why it's such a drawback that they know. If they fail the will save, or if they even pass the will save and I do it again, we could basically just be like, listen, you know, tell us what we want to know. Oh, I'm not going to tell you.
Right.
Okay, you use that. I get a bonus, and then I feel like you just say the same shit. Tell us what the fuck you want to tell you, and, and
That it,
eventually he's gonna like what? I mean, he could say he could potentially say no again, but I mean, with the +10 to what I think is
yeah,
diplomacy.
it's +10. Yeah, diplomacy, bluff, intimidate, sense motive. You basically
Like,
learn. You basically learn. You learn their motivations and desires so well and easily because of the magic that it just makes everything you say make it.
thick almost.
Yeah. Everything you say to them like just makes too much sense for them to disregard you.
Right,
Like shit, he's right, or shit, fuck, how did he know that? Oh, shit.
right. I mean, he'll know that. Yeah. Oh, it's. I mean, he won't know that it's due to the magic unless he has
Right,
spellcraft, as
right.
I
Yeah,
said, and
they
then
won't
that's
know.
why I feel
Yeah,
like it's no. See, that's exactly why I feel like it's still usable. I'm not too worried about being secretive, although I don't know if that's a issue with me being neutral good. That's the only real issue I think. I think I could see with
right.
using that.
But
Being neutral good and then
yeah. I mean,
putting
yeah.
someone in a situation to like kind of force, not force them, but it is sort of like bending their arm, like twisting their arm or some shit, kind of.
I would
Yeah.
yeah, I would, if he's aware the person's not versed in spellcraft and use it, you know, if they're suspicious about it, just be like, he can convince them, don't worry about it, or or maybe he convinced them already, but even still, yeah, just throw it on them. It's not like they're gonna know. And then
Psychic
play.
reading will tell me if he's versed in something, if he's versed in spellcraft too.
Yeah, I was looking at psychic reading earlier, just I was trying to
No saves, no saves. That's what I love about that stuff. You just get
oh,
information
there's
if you
no
pass a
save.
high enough.
Yeah, it's
Sense
just a
motive.
sense
Yeah.
motive check. Okay.
hmm
DC
So
20 with a bonus
and
equals
you get
10.
more and more information. So if I'm able to say, oh, he has no spellcraft, and then I use investigative mind.
Yeah. If you had Insidious Insight and then do Psychic Reading, that's another +10 to the sense motive check. Cause
Right,
you,
right,
yeah,
right. Uh huh.
cause
Uh huh.
you get sense motive bonus plus your caster level adds to that. And then if you have Insidious Insight, that's another +10 to the fucking bonus. Because you get a piece of information for every 5 points past 20.
Right. So
And you get
and then you're rolling twice.
of
Oh wait.
your choice. What? Shoot,
And I,
I should have had this done. I should have had him do this. I was thinking about letting them do this on Ibor, like everybody that they fucking interrogated. Yeah, I should have had him do this on
yeah.
Ibor. I was thinking about this and then I got distracted. And then
Oh shit.
yeah, because he
All
probably
right.
would have wanted to know his alignment. He probably would have wanted to know his class. He probably would have wanted to know his religion. I see a few things here that he would have wanted to know about this guy.
Right. There's a lot of information that he can pull from someone with psychic reading. It's a really good spell.
Yeah.
Um, and like it seems like very like duh stuff, but you wouldn't know for sure unless you cast that spell. Like you know what I mean? Like or you'd have to really be paying attention to like all the details.
Right.
That's a great spell for like this for like an intrigue type of a environment, right? Even like this guy.
Yeah, this guy.
Actually, I wonder
Even
if
this
that would have.
guy.
I wonder if that would have. Yeah, I wonder if that would have given us information on Fox. I wonder, like, if it would have been like, yeah, he's a gas. I wonder because it says race in there. What does it say? Race or what?
Race or ethnicity.
Ethnicity, right? Something like that. Unless you would go by what he was in real life when he was alive. I don't know.
Oh, way back. Oh yeah, well yeah, I mean he was clearly alive.
But he's not going to show up as a ghast with psychic reading. You don't think? That's not some of the information
It
that it
wouldn't
can
even
pull.
well, no, it wouldn't even work on him because he's not humanoid. He'd be undead.
Does that spell really say it only works on humanoids?
Yeah, one humanoid creature.
Oh shit! Wait, so ghasts aren't considered humanoids?
They're undead. The humanoid's it's a type. It's a type of creature. But you lose your humanoid type once you become undead. Then you get the undead type.
Wow. Here I thought some undead are humanoids, but I guess not. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if you die a human and then someone reses you up and you're a
Oh,
skeleton,
that's because humanoid's a type. It's a type of the living creature that head, 2 leg, 2 arms, torso, um, and is not monstrous because there's a monstrous humanoid subtype, not subtype. There's a monstrous humanoid type. I think I listed the types of creatures in the game. There's a monstrous humanoid type. Those are reserved for like
right?
creatures that are humanoid but have like monstrous. They have like a monstrous form, like a minotaur. Minotaur is a monstrous humanoid. Medusas
Right,
are monstrous humanoids. Whereas,
right, right.
whereas the humanoid type creatures are the ones that are goblins, orcs, humans, elves, dwarves, gnomes, halflings. They're all humanoids. Uh,
That's
lizard folk,
really crazy that they
lizard folk are
strip
humanoids.
them. That's
But
crazy that
like,
they strip them of their humanoid status as soon as they become undead.
but yeah, as soon
That's
as they become
really crazy.
undead, they're not. They lose the humanoid status. They're not living anymore. They're part of the undead. They are undead. So
Different family now.
magic that would work on somebody that was living and a humanoid would not work on
That's
somebody undead.
actually, that's still good information though. Once that happens, then it's like, wait a second, my spell
Right.
failed.
Yeah.
He's not a human. That's a big ass clue though. You can still use it. That's
Yep.
still good information.
Yeah. Pretty much.
You
You'd
use
be
the spell, you're like, oh, I know I
like,
can find out
wait,
who this guy
what?
is.
What? My spell
Shit
just
fails.
fizzled? Did they pass the saving throw? Because I'm like, nope. Because the caster knows when the saving throw's passed. Now, it could be other reasons. It could be they got a mind blank spell on
Spell
them, but
resistance?
like,
Oh,
or
maybe.
spell
Mind blank,
resistance
right.
is a spell resistance. But then, even if it was spell
Right.
resistance, your character would have noticed that that their magic. Your character, because when you hit somebody with spell resistance, the caster can feel that there's like a resistance to his magic,
Like there's something, yeah,
yeah,
something in the way.
so you're trying to break through that barrier. Hence why you have to roll we roll the caster level check. It's like an attack roll,
Right.
but for magic.
You're able to overpower their
Right.
resistance, right?
So he would have, if it was spell resistance, he would have known. But yeah,
See, this is the
if
kind of
it just
shit
fails
that's
outright, you
really
could be like, where?
oh, yeah.
But yeah,
I wanted. I'm so upset that I couldn't make. I couldn't actually be at my computer, bro. I have so much like my work day is so ridiculous. Like it's not even funny. My commute's fucking crazy. I'm trying to move so I can get my commute